is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business, car key replacements, and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. Yes, sir. Time to rock and roll live from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Yep. Alarmo is ready. Sean is ready. Have you recovered from all that turkey? God, that was so good last night. Oh, I think I thanked the old lady like 86 times. It's like, it's that meal that you look forward to every year. You know, you only get it once a year, and I don't really get a lot of home cooking because we're not really cooks in our house. So it's a lot of eating out, and you tend to eat a lot of the same, stuff over and over again. No matter even if it's good, you're still eating the same stuff over and over again. And you just get that home cooked meal from the old lady, and I got to tell you, bro, it just it's one of those where it makes you feel whole. You know what I mean? The daughter also baked a cake yesterday, so had a nice slice of cake after everything. Had my my fried sweet potato, my boniato, as we like to call it in Spanish, and that was absolutely fantastic. That was orgasmic. Love it. So it was just one of those things. It's and I love turkey. Okay, I can eat turkey a whole bunch. I feel terrible that Boston Market has kind of gone to crap already, pretty much. But man, in its heyday, I love going to Boston Market and getting me a turkey sandwich. Nowadays, you pull up to the few Boston Markets that are left, and it's not the same. The service is very half-ass, and it's just not the same quality, it seems. They don't put the same love into it that they used to at Boston Market, It's just the way it is. Were you much of a Boston Market guy? I loved Boston Market back in the day.
If there's food, I'm that guy.
But I mean, yeah, but Boston Market was good in its day.
The macaroni and cheese.
In its day, it was good, when they cared. Back in the day when Kenny Rogers said the wood is what makes it good. That was another one I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I
didn't go to that one that much, but I
enjoyed Kenny Rogers Roasters.
Yeah, Roasters.
That's what it was. Yeah, baby. Yeah. The late Kenny Rogers, right? Didn't we just lose him?
Hold on, let me make
sure.
Did I
kill
him off? Hold on.
Did I kill him off? I think we lost Kenny just recently, didn't we? I want to say yes. Sadly, I think he had to fold him. I think he's no longer holding him right now. So I think I'm correct. Kenny, I'm sorry if I killed you off. March 20th, 2020. See, there you go. Yeah. See, 81? He did good. You crossed that 80 mark. You did really, really good, man. Really good. Really good. You cross the 70s and you're already blessed. You get to the 80s, man, and then you get to the 90s. You're just now you're playing with house money. Okay? 90s, you're already with house money. I mean, that's just crazy nowadays. Knight, thank you. Already chiming in with a super chat. He says, I'm officially not scared of Allen anymore. I don't think you should be scared of the Bills anyway. You already beat them in the first month of the season. So what's the big deal? You know what I'm saying? I have not feared the Bills for a while now. You know, that was the only game that I thought that they would lose in the first month. And they won it. After they won that, I was like, you know, somebody said to me yesterday, like, what, you know, you think they can, you know, beat anybody? I said, yeah. They can beat all the top teams. Could they lose to them? Of course they could lose to them. I mean, they're good teams. You can beat Kansas City and you can lose to Kansas City. And you can beat Buffalo and you can lose to Buffalo. Oh, you should feel right now, there's no need to feel afraid of anybody if you're a Miami Dolphins fan. And the problem with that is, again, we've talked about this. Some of you are, you know, you're snake bitten. We're all snake bitten from everything that's happened in the past. But this is not the same team from the past. Why? Because you have a franchise quarterback, something you haven't had since Marino. So that's why you constantly get burned. You got a pretty damn good coach, something you haven't had in a while. You have a guy that offensively just gets it more than most. Yeah, I listen, is this a great defense? No. They're going to bend. They're going to find ways to make plays. They're going to give up some plays. But your offense is incredibly potent, and you've got an opportunity to score pretty much on every possession that you have. And in fact, with Tua Tagovailoa, you're scoring on most of your possessions. It's pretty impressive. Should not fear Josh Allen. You should not fear Pat Mahomes. You should not fear Jalen Hurts. You shouldn't fear Aaron Rodgers, not that he's even going to be in the playoffs. But you shouldn't fear anybody in this league whatsoever. I'm not saying you should feel to the point that you're better than everybody. No, that's stupid. But this whole stuff, this whole, you know, worried about it, Knight, there's no reason any of us should be, oh my God, we've got no shot. No, our team has a shot. It's nice to be a Fins fan right now and that your Miami Dolphins have a shot in any game. And let me tell you something. When you come back from 21 in Baltimore, that tells you all you need to know about this Miami Dolphins team. You know, when you can, on 4th and 7, you can throw that pass. That these are things that should put you in a position that you should feel confident that your team can be competitive week in and week out with the best teams in the league. Okay? Josh Allen is a badass, but so is Tua. That's all I got to say. All right? Tua is also a badass. And that's why you got a shot now, because now you've got badasses all over the field, like Tyreek and Waddle and Chubb. You know, you got badasses in Javon Holland. You got guys that will make plays on offense, on defense. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. There's no reason whatsoever to lack any confidence as a Miami Dolphins fan. By the way, Essential Moving Experts, a proud sponsor of our show. We love Sean and all the great people out there at Essential Moving Experts. Don't forget, you mention our name, and you will get $150 off. You're moving anywhere in the country. This is a national sponsor, 844-368-5750. Home moving services, long moving services, office relocation. In fact, if you're moving from one house to another and it's in another state or whatever, let me tell you something. The folks at Essential Moving Experts, if that new home is not ready yet and you need to store your stuff for a week or 2 or 3, they can do it for you. They can store it up to a month on the house. That's the kind of class that Essential Moving Experts shows because they understand this is a very difficult time when you're moving. That's why well over 1,600 applicants and customers have said and approved Essential Moving Experts, saying they do a phenomenal job. Again, mention our name, get $150 off. I mean, honk that horn. Celebrate, baby. Essential Moving Experts. Office relocation, flat rates, no surprise charges, safe and efficient loading and unloading practices at all times. Call Sean Williams at Essential Moving Experts, 844-368-5750. All right. Billy says, we can hang with anyone, even with the injuries. The D bends, but it doesn't break. We just get a little better play from them, and we will be all good. And I think it's going to get better, that defensive play, too, as the season goes on. Derek Sibley says, Big O, how many field goals and extra points do you think Jason Sanders misses this Sunday? Why you gotta focus on the negative, Derek? What's the deal, bro? They're 7-3. They're going to win, and they're going to kick Houston's ass. Why are we focusing on stuff that may or may not even happen? Why we got to do that, bro? I don't get that one. Assuming health and weather are not a major factor, what final record do the Finns end up with? I don't know, man. I have no idea, but I had them in the 11-12 win range. I'm still there. I think they could get to 13. I think maybe 12 or 13 now is possible for them, the way they're playing. So I'm going to go there. Instead of 11-12, I'm going to go 12-13 now. I'm going to move the bar a little higher. What I like is this week puts me one game away from cashing in my ticket in Vegas. So I like that. I took the Dolphins over 8.5. I thought that was a layup. And that's exactly what it was. It was a freaking layup, man. I love it. Honk that horn real smooth, though. They were celebrating. They were pumped up about it. They want, they want to use Essential Moving Experts. That's what you want to do. Celebrations. It's what we do here. All we do. There was somebody about to whip out the pots and pans, but, we said the horns, it's enough. It's enough. Fuhencio says, finally it happens, folks. Bill Belichick is not getting any more favors from referees. Well, I mean, listen, he doesn't have the ultimate break, Tom Brady. That's what happens, baby. He doesn't have Tom Brady anymore. So that's why he's 6-5. And that was beautiful yesterday. We needed the Bills. We needed the Patriots to lose. Unfortunately, the Lions are the Lions, And let me tell you about yesterday with the Patriots. I mean, with the Bills and the Lions. And the Bills ended up pulling it out. But in the end, the Lions, they mismanaged the clock in the first and second half, committed stupid penalties, including that roughing the passer, which kept that drive alive for the Bills. Stupid. Just plain stupid. Okay, the 3rd and 1, you're playing with Jared Goff. Okay, I know these things. You know these things. He knows these things. Okay? We're Dolphins fans. We know exactly what it's like to have a mediocre to average quarterback at best. And when you're asking that mediocre average quarterback to do great things, it fails every single time. And Jared Goff is a mediocre to average quarterback. Always has been, always will be. Yeah, and some, I took a shot at the Lions yesterday. They were going all for it. No, dude, you're not going all for it with that deep pass. Oh, if Jerry could have hit him. Well, that's your problem, you idiot. You counted on Jared Goff. 3rd and 1, you try to get the first down. You have Jamal Williams, who has carried your offense, has scored 13 touchdowns already in a short amount of time. The guy's playing out of his freaking mind. You either throw a short pass, give it to Jamal Williams, you keep the clock going. Even if you're going to settle for 3, there better be 1 second left on the clock when you kick that field goal. So you tried a stupid play where you need a great player and you don't have a great player behind center. So now you counted on Jared Goff to make plays that he never makes. You're going to need one of those, lucky moments. What are you? I think his name was Ahmed from Bad News Bears, and you close your eyes and may the force be with you? Is that what we're doing? Come on. That's the reason why you're the freaking Detroit Lions. And I love hearing they're making progress, this, that, and all that, and chain pulling. They're the same Lions. What, that they're a gritty bunch right now? Okay, I'll give it to you. They're a gritty bunch. But they're poorly coached. And they showed that on a consistent basis. Did they play over their heads yesterday? Yes. But in the end, they've got a losing record. They're in a terrible division. I mean, give me a break, dude. It's like watching the what is it? The NFC North and NFC South. Oh my God, those divisions are terrible. The Lions are the Lions. As Dennis Green would say, they are who we thought they were. And they let the Bills off the hook. That's what happened. Okay? That's all. Man Campbell showed me once again that he is not ready for primetime players. And that's what he is. He's the guy that you have at the back end of the Saturday Night Live lineup. And he and his staff proved that shit over and over and over again yesterday in so many ways. So many ways. And let me tell you something. The Lions have some good players on that team. They do have some good players on that team. It's a shame that they have Jared Goff, and it's a shame that they have that coaching staff. But they actually have hit on some players. That I'll give it to them. But are they a team to be reckoned with or headed in the right direction? Bullshit. Same crap as always.
Oh, you want an update on the Tua Haters Club?
Oh yeah, what happened now?
The ongoing tournament.
Oh yeah,
we had the first round yesterday. A couple locals advanced.
Okay, well, fill me in.
All right, Ben Volen advanced. I'll just cover some of the
over who, right? Like
Oh, I don't have all the way back. Today it's Colin Cowherd versus Phil Simms.
Okay.
Little Scooter versus Ben Volen.
I don't even know who Little Scooter is.
Mike Tannenbaum against Dave Portnoy.
Okay.
Stephen A. Smith versus Damian Woody.
Okay.
This one could get interesting right here. Brian Flores versus Diana Rossini.
Well, but Brian Flores literally was sabotaging Tua's career. He's number one. Diana Rossini deserves all the hate from the Tuanons. There's no doubt. I saw Diana Rossini many times say a lot of stupid shit about Tua. Okay, and I like Diana Rossini. I think she does a good job overall reporting. But when it came to breaking it down, listen, I don't blame Diana. Most of the media got it wrong here on this one. On this one, by the way, this is going to end up turning me into the bad guy in the media because I'm one of the few that's on the right side of it. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those deals. And so people will look at it and go, oh, yeah, wow, you got it right. You know, like, and you know what they're going to say, right? I got lucky. That's what they'll say. I'll be turning into the bad guy, and then they'll say that I got lucky. And then I'll turn to them and say, oh, I got lucky, right? So I got lucky when I said Flo was going to get fired? Did I get lucky when I said fire Tannenbaum and Gase and hire Chris Greer? You know, I'll start doing all of that on their asses, you know, but that's all right. That's all right. You know, whatever. But it's going to turn me into the bad guy because I'm having fun at this. And you know why? Because I know, you know, I got the Snickers in the media room when I said this guy is one of those generational players. And so, but that's a wasted matchup because Rossini's going to get put aside right away, and she needs to go deeper into the thing because she was one of the top haters and non-believers, let's say, of Tua.
But the winner of that will play the winner of Mina Kimes versus Jared Bailey. So
Who's Jared Bailey?
I don't know. So I think Mina Kimes will advance there. But
okay,
I think it's going to be Mina Kimes against.
There's
Brian
some
Flores
names there that I have no idea who the hell
I
these
think they're
people
more national or something.
Or they're just normal people or something. Is that what it is?
There's some that are, but I don't know if those all made it past the first round. Keyshawn Johnson versus Nate Geary. Our very own Omar Kelly takes on Mr. Negative.
I know Mr. Negative.
Yeah,
because I went back over the weekend, over the last couple of days, over the last 24 hours, whatever, and I retweeted some of. You know what I did? I didn't know I could do this. You put in the search engine Big O Show, and then I put Tua hate or Tua sucks or whatever. And then
brings it up.
It brings up people that tweeted to me that Tua sucks or they hate Tua or whatever.
Go back at
and Mr. Negative was one of the guys that I retweeted because he said something incredibly stupid. I forgot what it was. There was one guy that said, "Oh, you know, the Dolphins will regret they should have kept Flo and got rid of Tua or something." I forgot the guy's name, but it was just funny that he wanted Flo over Tua. So that was cool. I had no idea you could do that. Because, you know, nobody really tracks what other people say. Everybody tracks what I say or another media member says. And if we say something wrong, you'll be quick to bring it up on us, right? And so we live that life. You know, I've lived that life for 30 years. And that's fine. I'm good with it. But the average person doesn't live that life. They say something stupid. They text something stupid, tweet something stupid. Nobody tracks them. But it's funny now. Now I can actually, if I want to have some fun with that stuff and pick up any negative stuff, I just put Big O Show, and then I'll put whatever negative crap that I've gotten in the past, like the Chris Greer stuff too. I did that also over the last couple of days. I treat what happened the last couple of days like a weekend, and I did that too, and I brought those up. So I remember the Mr. Negative guy as one of those guys.
He's the 21 seed, and Omar's actually a 12 seed in this tournament.
Okay.
So, our own Joe Shad, who's a 31 seed, takes on the number 2 seed, Chris Sims.
Oh, okay.
So the whole Sims family represents.
I would put Chris Sims. I mean, Joe said some crazy stuff, but I'll go with Sims over Joe Shad.
Yeah. Chris Canty takes on Mike Greenberg. Nick Wright versus Joe, the show legend.
No idea who that
Here's
is.
a battle of South Florida.
Maybe he's well known in his house.
Armando Salguero will take on Dave Hyde.
Okay. All right.
Mike Florio and Theo Ash.
No idea who that is.
Yeah. Chris Long and Bart Scott.
Okay.
Skip Bayless, Jeremy Klump. And rounding out will be Michael Lombardi taking on TD Finstock.
Okay.
And what they've been doing is they
others have mentioned the TD Fins guy. I have no idea who he is.
They'll send out on Finn's receipt, they put like a 2-hour limit so you can vote to who goes on next.
Okay.
So it was good yesterday.
All right. I had no idea that Ruthie Polinsky was an anti-Tua person. I saw the tweets and everything.
I think she's changed a little bit. I don't know necessarily that. I don't know if she was absolute though.
Well,
she might have said some absolute things. I don't know. Maybe
she did. They put out somebody retweeted like a picture of one of her tweets. Like you could tell that this offense is, with Tua, they can't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
You know, he was I'm paraphrasing, like he was the weakness of the offense.
Because at camp, she said she was talking a little bit differently. It's more.
Well, by now, I would imagine.
Well, no, but at camp, when we were at camp before the season started, she was more
positive.
It felt. Okay. But again, I don't know.
I had no idea.
She might have just been doing that on the outside and tweeting.
I learned it by these folks.
No, 100%. I'm seeing things now that I'm like, oh, that's right. They did say that, so they were.
Most of those names I remember being, Tua non-believers, but I did not know that Ruthie was a non-believer of Tua.
Yeah. And Karen, yes, people go in and vote for who the bigger hater is. You just have to follow Dolphins receipt. They send out the matchups, and they give you like a 3-hour window to vote.
Dude, they retweeted a video of mine. Did you see that shit? It went viral. It's a video like a year ago that I'm like, you're all gonna find out that it's the coaching and not the players and all that stuff. And then I also said that that they need to change the coach and all, because that's what I said last year, that you got to fire the coach, and then I kind of knew the coach was going to get fired also eventually. And then
so you got the big W. They said yesterday. They said the big W goes to Big O.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it is what it is. We were the only, probably one of the few media members that was, and I see. What's the weird part with Omar? He was right there with me from the get-go. I'm believing that the kid was a player.
Did you see him gushing over him was that a draft or
where
was that?
At the combine.
Is that the combine? Okay.
And he's there at the podium and he's drooling. You needed a bib and everything for the poor man. I mean, Omar was drooling like all over himself. And then but that's what Omar does. He waffles a lot, and that's why he'll play both sides and all that. That's why I'll bust him by playing both sides. But he got unconvinced quickly. You know what I mean? It was weird. It was weird because he was on there with me. He knew the kid was a baller. You saw it at Alabama. It's the short-sighted stuff is, he's surrounded by talent. That don't matter, dude. Timing and accuracy and all that kind of stuff and being able to have anticipatory skills, that has nothing to do with it, bro. Nothing. That's a gift. But it's weird, man. Jose Lucas, thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. He says, Wales lost today. Don't matter. Just beat Iran. Yes, and beat Iran. On the battlefield and soccer. Get back our hostages. Crush their asses. Yeah, beat them everywhere. Flo burning his bridges in the organization makes me wonder how he lied during the hiring process about working with everyone. I'd say stretch the truth, embellish, but it's a lie. Yeah, no, I mean, there is no bigger phony than Flo. Okay, none. Isaiah says, morning, Big O. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you. I hope you had a great one. Omar did ride the tank for Tua. Yeah, no, dude. Omar was all in. He just quit quickly. Once the kid got here and he wasn't 100% yet, and then obviously Flo put him in a position to fail, he convinced him and lots of other people that he wasn't the guy. And not enough people saw it the way I saw it, that the problem wasn't Tua. Everything else around him was the freaking problem. A Brian Flores by far distance. No one sabotaged and changed the narrative of Tua's career more than Flo. No one hater competes with him as a hater. Yep, I agree. I agree. Flo has to win that whole tournament by miles, dude. By miles. Huh? What was that?
I said he should win it, but he won't.
He should, dude. I mean, he could have ended that kid's career, man.
Well, I mean, if it's an actual vote in a contest, Brian Flores wins far and away. The problem is you're going to have the Twitter followers following it, and you have people that still believe, I think, that the Dolphins would be better with Brian Flores.
My God.
Somehow,
I don't know how
the defense would be better. We've had that on the show.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, Joe Shad tried to pull that shit with me, and I was like, you don't get to pick and choose, dude. If you have Brian Flores, you get all of Brian Flores, which means you have no offense again. You have no Tyreek, and you have no Teron Armstead. You have no Connor Williams. No nothing, bro. You have no offense. You don't get to do that. You don't get to pick and choose. You know what I'm saying?
I think Joseph says it best here in the chat. Flores lovers are Tua haters and vice versa.
Joseph. Peace, baby. Love it. That was good. That was good, baby. That was perfect, Joseph. Touche. Love it. That is so true. Karen says, was thinking the same thing. They should have a Tua haters ball and make fun of the anti-Tua folks. Nothing too mean, just funny. No, that's what it should be. Shouldn't be mean, but you should have fun. Like I told you guys the other day. Come back at them with the evidence. The tweet that they posted, the video, the audio clip, that they, whatever that proves that, hey, look, you said this. You wrote this. I watched you do this. You know, that kind of stuff. And that's where you can have fun with them. It doesn't have to be hurtful or hateful or anything like that, because it's sports. You know what I mean? But it's just funny how a crap ton of people got this wrong and did not read the situation the right way. That's all. So, like the Bleacher Report cartoon episode, Tua was hilarious. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that Bleacher. They've done a good job with those videos on Bleacher Report. By the way, the Dolphins are now favored by 14 points. The over and under is 47. Texas is 575 plus 575 on the money line. And Miami is minus 800 on the money line now that Allen is starting.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a quarterback change, right? That's what's done it?
Yeah.
That's changed it?
Yeah, they moved it to the former Carolina, Washington Redskin and Ron Rivera friend. Because that was Ron Rivera's guy over in Carolina. And then he brought him over a little bit in Washington that first year, I believe, right? I think he played that first year in Washington. And then he's now there, and so he's going to end up starting.
When was the last time double-digit favorite? Dolphins.
Oh, God. It's got to be forever. Forever. Dolphins haven't been this good to actually.
We haven't had an offense to
you haven't had a quarterback to give you that. Because even with Ricky, you're not going to be favored by 14.
No, yeah.
It's a running back. With Lamar Smith or even when you had the unicorns, as Omar would call it, along with Jay Ajayi, you still weren't going to be favored by double digits. And that's the only offenses we've ever had here the last 20 years. They've all been running back oriented offenses. This is the first time you're favored by 14 because you're led by a quarterback offense, an offense that can light you up. You know what I'm saying? And I got to tell you something. This is the kind of game that I think they're going to work on their running game more than anything else. Now, if the defense can turn them over, then yeah, they'll win easily by the 14 points. But I would not play that game at all. I would not touch it. Miami's going to win that game, and they could easily win by 14. But I could also see them kind of comfortably running this game along and just pounding the stats and not putting a lot of people at risk, because this is the kind of game where you want to pound the hell out of them. Although Mostert is coming in with a little bit of a knee injury. He has not practiced the last couple of days. So Wilson will be the probably main ball carrier, and then maybe Gaskin or Ahmed. And Poupart, who nailed this, it'll probably be Ahmed getting the elevation.
I need Tua to ball out. I need Tyreek to ball out. And I need Gesicki to get involved.
I don't think
I need to lock up my fantasy football teams.
Yeah, but
I'm about to go on Instagram and start going after the Dolphins coaches.
Now, next week, I think you'll pick that up. I just don't think that the passing numbers are going to be enormous this week, because they don't need it. They don't need it. And that's the thing. And why put it in the air when you don't have to put it in the air that much? If you can bully them at the line of scrimmage and control it with the running game, I kind of see a lot of that going on, and then some passing. But I don't think it'll be the major numbers that you normally expect from the Dolphins offense now. Knight, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. The Texans in 2003, we lost by 1 point. There you go. Oh, but yeah, that was an expansion year, right? Probably. Yeah, bro. They got into the league and kicked our asses. Okay, that sucked. We lost I think we watched the Dolphins lose like 5 straight times to the Texans before they beat them or something like that. It was ridiculous, man. So, all right, let's get ready. Let's talk a little basketball. We actually had a nice performance the other night. Will we get another one? The Miami Heat are back in action against the Wizards at 8 o'clock. So we'll talk to Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. That is next.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right, there he is. How you feeling, Ira?
I get to talk to you after a win. I'm feeling probably better than the previous couple of Acura Pembroke Pines reports that we've done.
Yeah, no, but listen, that was a nice performance. You're missing several people, and Lowry came up with a hell of a performance. I thought Bam played well, and my favorite performance was Caleb. And you know, one of the things that I wanted to start with you on is while Caleb may not be looked at as a scoring machine, but I think he's kind of a rhythm player. And one of the things that when he first broke out with the Heat, he was on a roll and he was given a rhythm. He was given a certain amount of shots almost every night, and he was able to get in a real groove. And then I forgot now whether it was injury or somebody came back from injury or something that then derailed his minutes, and then he never really got back into the groove again. I think now because of the injuries, it's allowed him to get in a groove again. I don't want to lose this groove. I want to keep him in this groove because the one thing I like about Caleb, and I know that the coaching has to like this, and so does probably Pat Riley, he's such a complete player. And he helps you when he's on the floor, and if he's in an offensive rhythm, it's a glorious thing to watch because he's going to help you out defensively. He's going to facilitate. He's going to steal some balls. He's going to get some rebounds. He's just going to fill up the stat sheet. And I'm just a big fan of that kid. And I just think that if you can somehow give him the opportunity, and I know that there's only one basketball, but I just kind of feel that you've talked about this 100 times. You know, maybe we got to do the Ginobili thing. We got to say, hey, Tyler, we love you, but we need that energy off the bench. You're going to get the same amount of minutes practically. You'll probably finish games with us. But I love this whole thing with Caleb kind of being part of the initial group.
You know, I'm going to disagree with you and agree with you. I think what you said there about when he came off the bench, he had more opportunity. In a way, he's getting more opportunity now because there is no bench and everyone's injured. Because he didn't have to defer for 8 games with Tyler Hero until Wednesday. He hasn't had to defer the last 5 games without Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. When you're in a lineup that's so loaded, when you have Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, and Tyler Hero, he's the 5th wheel on a 4-wheel car in that starting lineup. But when he played off the bench last season as an energizer, the canvas was his. It was maybe Tyler Hero out there, but really with maybe Robinson and Vincent and Dedmon, and it was his opportunity. I think he so appreciates where he fits that he takes a back seat when Jimmy's in there, when Tyler's in there, when Bam is in there, and when Hero is in there. There are certain guys, they might deserve Big O to start, but they're better suited to play off the bench. And I think the Heat have 2 of those, and that's 2 of the issues this season. Number 1 is Caleb Martin as an energizer off the bench, different player. Number 2 is Tyler Hero as a create my shot first type of player, better off the bench. Why was Tyler Hero so good in the 4th quarter the other night? Jimmy Butler wasn't there. It wasn't a matter of having to look to Jimmy in the post, get him to the free throw line, feed Jimmy. He can do that. The Heat have the talent to be successful. But a lot of times it's like playing Tetris and trying to get those blocks to fit in with each other. And that's what the Heat have not achieved right now. The starting lineup has only played, the primary starting lineup has only played 7 games this season, not one since November 1st of Adebayo, Martin, Hero, Butler, and Lowry. But even then, Big O, it was just 3-4 to start the season. So it's not like there were dramatic results then. This could take a big pair by Eric Spoelstra to sit down and say, guys, we gave it a chance. But guys, I didn't plan on being 7-11, 8-11, maybe hopefully after tonight, 9-11. We have to get back. We have to work season when we were the number 1 seed. We got to get back to where players fit in their best roles. With Caleb, it's not a problem. You could move Caleb out. You could play Nikola Jovic for token minutes as a starter. With Tyler, it's different. He ended the season, I want to be a starter. Pat Riley said, earn your way as a starter. Tyler said, I went to camp and earned my way as a starter. I started the season. What have I done wrong not to be a starter? And again, it's not through any fault of his own. This is when all those stories Eric Spoelstra tells us about sacrifice and selflessness come into play for the greater good of the team. Are you willing to do that? And you know what, Big O? Basketball is a team sport. But the way basketball is played in this era with these contracts and these endorsements, it's also very much an individual sport. This may be the hardest part of all of coaching for Eric Spoelstra and others, to get players to fit in a role they see as better for the team, but the player might not see as better for the player.
So it's a hell of a dilemma right now, and I do worry about still if they have enough power in that rotation. And I know it's not necessarily a game of power, but I still think the rebounding is going to be needed, especially against some of these teams that are high-powered offenses. You don't want to keep giving them on nights where you give them a second and third chance, and that's what's going to end up burying you. So I still worry about that. What's the latest with Jimmy Butler, by the way?
I got to say I'm shocked because, again, this is just being discussed as soreness and discomfort, not as a quote-unquote injury. On the injury report, there's nothing there. There's no official wording of it. It's not a torn this or a bruise that or a strain or a sprain of something. It's just discomfort. I've always thought if you just have discomfort and your team is losing, you deal with the discomfort and you get on the court. Now, you, Big O, have spoken all along about the older roster, about Kyle being 36 and Jimmy being 33, and you have to preserve them. You've also spoken about Jimmy getting a 5-year extension with 3 more years on it. You're going to pay the guy. You need the guy to be out there. This is the push-pull right now. I think some of it has to do with the opponent. You can get away without Jimmy Butler against the Wizards. We saw that a week ago Friday. They got away with everyone, and they still were in overtime. And honestly, they were up 5 points with like 36 seconds to go in regulation. Yeah. Should have won the game. Yeah. You got away without Jimmy Butler on Wednesday, even though it went down to the wire. So you probably could buy another game. But I will tell you this, Big O. After tonight's game, or whatever you want to call the arena, on Sunday, at Atlanta Hawks, on Wednesday, at Boston Celtics, on Friday, at Boston Celtics, the following Monday, at Memphis Grizzlies. Without Jimmy Butler in the Heat lineup against Atlanta, Boston, Memphis, it's completely different than him sitting out, even against Minnesota and against Washington. So maybe today is the last day of the sort of, okay, Jimmy, we'll let you have the time you think you need. You've had more than a week to rest the knee, but now we're at critical mass. Because Big O, even if they win tonight, and they go to 9-11 at the 20-game mark, the de facto quarter mark of the season, you still have, ground to gain. You have to go at least 2-2 on that trip, I would think, to come back home. Okay, softer schedule, Detroit, San Antonio, Orlando, you can get over 500. But this reminds me of when they went out on the last trip. They beat Phoenix. Hey, we're great. We're 500. We're going to make our move. And then they lost all 4 games. So I think Jimmy needs to suck it up. And like Eric Spoelstra said after that game in Minnesota, hey, if you can only give us 20 minutes instead of a usual 30, give it to us. If you can give us 12 minutes instead of a usual 20, give it to us. They'll need some form of Jimmy Butler to be competitive against Atlanta, Boston, and Memphis.
Interesting stuff, man. By the way, this whole thing with the arena, what are they going to do with the name finally?
Well, again, they get paid in advance. So if they take the name off, then they're to a degree, the county is breaking their agreement for the money already received. I believe the next payment is due in January. But this is a very moral and ethical dilemma also. That if you knew someone was involved in what apparently is being investigated as a criminal enterprise, do you want to be associated with it? In other words, before Bernie Madoff was convicted, he still was charged, and it was apparent what was going on with this Ponzi scheme. Would you have wanted to remain Bernie Madoff Arena because he made the donation, or in this case, the sponsorship? No. I think that's where FTX Arena is regarded with the county. It's just not a good look right now. People have been cheated out of millions and millions and billions of dollars by this scam because of what went on, with an operation out of the Bahamas, and they want to get that scrubbed. But if they scrub it now, they also scrub the dollars. And all of a sudden, when you're in bankruptcy and those dollars have to return to the bankruptcy court, you're never going to see it again. And that money was being used to fuel a social program, an anti-gun violence program in Dade County. So it's a real dilemma. The ethical part of you says, scrub that name, get the sanding machine out on the court before tonight's game. But the reasonable part of you says, but we're not in a position to give up that money either. And again, at Big O, you can't just lose one title sponsor one day and have one up there the next day. It's a whole negotiation, like when they went for American Airlines. Sure. Look at the Panthers. They don't have one. Right now it's FLA Live Arena. Look at
they could call it Heat Live. They could call it Heat Live Arena too if they want to.
They could, but to get a new sponsor for actual real money takes a while. Why did it take the Marlins like a decade before they became
but they're not the Heat. Come on, let's not. There's a lot of teams. Yeah. There's a lot of corporations that would love to partner themselves up with the Miami Heat. That's a great organization to partner yourself up with and be a title sponsor. The Heat, I think, will have no problem finding a title sponsor. The Marlins, well, that's a whole different ballgame. You don't really win. You don't really do things to represent that name in the right way. You're not going to be in the playoffs. You're not going to have packed houses. The Heat, dude, I was at the Suns game the other night. I was sitting there in the lower bowl. It was a fantastic atmosphere, dude. Sure. The place was packed in the middle of the week. It was great.
But the problem is the deal is negotiated through the county. So there's only X amount of Heat influence. The county's looking to get their dollar. The county felt they were not getting their best share with the previous agreement. Then American Airlines stepped aside. So there's a push-pull. And as you know, Big O, when government gets involved, it's never simple. It's never business. It's always something more also. There's a political angle there also.
Although she sounded, and I'm talking about Mrs. Cava, I think, is it Cava, her last name? She sounded pretty like she was dead set on getting rid of that name off the arena. And I get that they need the revenue, but the problem is that's such an embarrassment right now. And there are so many people that unfortunately lost their money.
I agree, and that's why I don't refer to it. And if you notice my stories of the Sun Sentinel, I say the visiting Wizards, a Heat home game on the Heat's court. I believe the Heat broadcast is using the Heat's house right now. Everyone's trying to distance themselves, but every time that camera pans back and forth, FTX Arena, you can't deny it. Look, they got the visibility because they spent the money, so they were on the court, but now you sort of wind up with the embarrassment because of that. But if you wash it off right now, there's a financial implication also. And there's a legal implication also. You have to play it both ways.
If they would have listened to me, if they listened to this show, I told them a few days before they closed down, I said, get your money out, dude. Get your money out. Oh, God.
Maybe we should go the other way. And instead of all these deals Big O has with Acura Pembroke Pines, with RaidRecovery.com, how about the Big O Show Arena?
There you go. Now that would be that. The Heat would never lose. They would win.
There you go. And I got to tell you one more thing. I was in the airport the other day, as you remember, in Cleveland doing the show. And I told the guy who was sitting across from me at the airport table, I apologize. I'm going to be a little loud. I have to do a radio segment. He says, no problem. I'm just reading email. So I do the show with you, and I keep saying Big O, Big O, Big O. Remember, we're in Ohio.
Okay.
And I get done, and the guy goes, wow, was that Oscar Robertson? And I'm like, yeah, not exactly. Sort of, but not exactly. That was the Cuban Oscar Robertson. And I went that way. But he was very impressed. For 20 minutes, all he kept hearing was Big O, Big O, Big O.
That is awesome. That is fantastic. I love that. Marcel, by the way, is walking the streets of Detroit. And he goes by this store. And on the TV, he hears his voice, and they're actually watching our game. They're actually watching our show after the game against the Lions. And so it's like the guy then sees Marcel and goes, "Hey, that's you." So somewhere in Detroit, they were watching our show. How about that? So it's getting around, man. It's getting around. The show's gotten around. We're blessed. That's for sure. What do you think about tonight?
A must win. And I know it sounds weird that a game against the Washington Wizards must win, but we have to wait to see. Bradley Beal's questionable. He didn't play on Wednesday. Obviously, in a game that's a 4-point game, 2-point game, Bradley Beal can make a difference. We'll have to see on that. We still have the Heat injury situation. Obviously, Jimmy's out. You have doubtful with Max Strus and Duncan Robinson. So you're probably going to need maybe a little bit more from Tyler Hero. You got to get this one. You got to get this one, Big O, because what is next? Atlanta, Boston, Memphis. That's going to be a brutal trip, just like the last trip was. You can't afford another 0-4. You lose this one, and you go 0-4 also, and all of a sudden you're 7 games under 500. That's a mountain to reach by midseason.
You good with the Patrick Beverley suspension?
Yeah, and again, I think that's the recidivist fine. And a guy like that who can be a danger to his fellow NBA players, you got to come down hard and send a message. This wasn't the first time. It wasn't the second time. Probably not the third or fourth or fifth time either.
No, it's that's the problem. He has that reputation, and man, you just can't you can't put people at risk, and there's a lot of money involved.
You can
and you get DeAndre Ayton injured, you set that franchise back big time. And let me tell you, I've always been a proponent of the dirty hit guys. They need to be suspended as long as whoever they injured is out. And if you injured some guy that's out for 2 months, well, then your suspension.
Well, that's the Nikola Jokic thing last year with Markieff Morris. And when you issue the fine and the suspension, you don't know how long it's going to last. And not only did it impact Markieff Morris that year, but based on him not playing, you can make an argument that almost impacted his career as well.
Yep, no doubt. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heapy. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, have a fantastic weekend, my friend. We'll catch up on Monday.
Actually, I'll catch up on Tuesday if you remember. I'm traveling to Boston. Tuesday from Boston, Beantown. I'll bring a little nice cannoli from Little Italy. It'll be good for both of us. Thank you, Oscar Robertson. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you, Ira. Appreciate you. All right, good stuff there. That is our look around the Miami Heat.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
I'm just sorry, I just read a headline that says former Trump's Surgeon General says he's struggling to get a job. Oh, brother, man, you tie yourself with the wrong people, things are going to happen. Anyway, Bang Brothers Center, huh? You guys still want the Bang Brothers to do the arena? They'll get a sponsor. I'm not worried about that, but you have to take out the FTX thing. You have to. You have to, because it's a stain. You're taking money, and I gotta say, and I know this is gonna spin it to our local team that I hate it, but I gotta be honest, man. Keeping the name of FTX around is just as bad as watching David Beckham bend over backwards to become a mouthpiece for Qatar. It's despicable. David Beckham should be embarrassed to do something like that. Okay? And I don't know when the heat is going to pick up locally, nationally for him. Not a good thing. Okay? Not a good thing. All right? It's enough that FIFA sold their asses off for a country that is the size of Connecticut and has no business holding and hosting a World Cup, and that they, basically bribed the FIFA folks in order to get the thing when they shouldn't have it, and especially with their the amount of human rights violations that they have in that country is just ridiculous. Not sure if you guys saw the interview with one of their I forgot what are their high ups, whatever they're called over there in Qatar. And the guy was like, the guy tricked him, and he was like, do you know the conditions that the workers live in that are building the state? Oh, and the guy was like, oh, they live very comfortable, this, that. And he goes, no, they don't. We went there. And the guy was like, what? He didn't even know that the journalist had access to it. And those people live in filth. And what they did was they brought in thousands and thousands of workers from other countries because they didn't have enough there in their own country. Country's this big. And they treated those people like shit, like animals. Ate in a room, no working toilet, overflowed. Like, it was disgusting. Like, none of you would ever live under those conditions. And that's how those people were living. They would take baths from the water from the toilet. It's just gross, dude. Gross. And that's the thing about the FTX thing. You keep that name up there, you're taking, as a city and the Miami Heat, you're taking money from a company you didn't know at that moment, so it's not your fault. Like a lot of people, unfortunately, that were tied to the FTX thing, they didn't know that the guy was, Enron and, like any other, disgusting act that has stolen money from people over the years in banking or crypto or anything. Real estate, you name it. There's always been scams over the years. And this was nothing more than another scam. But you can't keep that name up there no matter what. And if you have to give back some of the money, then you give back some of the money and that's it. And you move on. But you can't associate yourself with that name FTX because it ruined a lot of people's lives. I read a story where there's a guy that lost $750,000. And now, by the way, I feel terrible that he lost $750,000. But now he is suing Brady and whatever. And it's not their fault. It's your fault, dude. You're a dumbass. I hate to say it, but you're a dumbass. You have $750,000 and you kept it on the exchange. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. It's your fault, not anybody else's. Should have it in a cold storage wallet. That's kind of the idea of all of this. That's why people don't understand crypto. The idea is so you can have your own freedom. That's kind of what that's what it is. Not for you to put your money in the bank. Because the bank can close. Did you see what happened in certain countries when they wanted to shut down their banks and people could not get to their money? There you go. That will never happen in crypto. If you have your own cold storage wallet, you will always have access to your money. Nobody can touch it except you. It's the idea of crypto. The idea was not to keep it on the exchange. The idea, and brother, the amount of billions that have come off the exchanges in the last 2 weeks since this FTX, because it finally convinced people like, oh, I need to take it up. Like a buddy of mine goes, I have it on Binance, and Binance is super strong. And I said, still, get it off. Get it off. Doesn't matter. Crypto.com doesn't have any issues. Get it off. Doesn't matter. OKCoin that I know of has no issues whatsoever. Doesn't matter. Buy it and get it off. You only use exchanges to buy and move your crypto off those exchanges. You don't keep your crypto in exchanges. Been telling you that for a while. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some guy that loves crypto. And I knew that just by following stuff. But you can't keep that name FTX. Just like I have no idea why David Beckham would somehow associate himself with Qatar. Wow. That is catastrophically stupid. By the way, go look for last week tonight with John Oliver. You know that show? Go forward to the 210 mark. Okay? And it's this week's episode where he's talking about Qatar and the World Cup and all that. I want you to fast forward to the 210 mark and watch the David Beckham piece. It's only a couple minutes. You can go do it right now and come back. Well, I bet you that if you go now and you come back, and you'll be back right after the top of the hour, and you come onto the chat board, you're going to be laughing your ass off. Besides it being an embarrassment for David Beckham, you're also going to laugh your ass off because it's hilarious. Oh, and by the way, David Beckham sucks at ad-libbing. Wow, he sucks at ad-libbing. Holy moly. I did not know that he lacked creativity with his dialogue. Wow, he is not a talker. He cannot say, he does. Whoa, yeah. Brian Walters, thank you for the love in the super chat, sir. Brooklyn Rob says, listen to Big O, get the wallet. I'm thankful I did. I had it on Coinbase. Exactly. Get it off Coinbase, bro. And Coinbase doesn't have any problems. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Get it off. And let me tell you, if you guys were listening to this show, you wouldn't have lost a penny in Voyager because I told you before they shut down to get it off. If you were listening to this show, you wouldn't have lost a penny on FTX. And I don't have anything to do with FTX. But you would have gotten your money off FTX if you would have listened to me. You wouldn't have ever lost one penny of it. That guy lost $750,000. If that guy listens to me, he never loses one penny. He gets it all off. I actually nailed both of those before they went down and told you guys, get your money out of there. But whatever. It is what it is. Some of us will follow this business and understand it, and so many just don't. And it's a real shame, man. Real shame. Too many people lost money. So if I'm the city and I'm the Heat, I'm getting rid of that name, and whatever millions you have to give back, give it back, move on. But you cannot associate yourself with that name. By the way, every employee has an FTX shirt on and hat. They haven't replaced any of the uniforms. It's everywhere. The label, the FTX is everywhere in that arena. They have it from when I went to the Suns game. It's everywhere. They need to get rid of it. Give back the money, whatever it is, but you cannot keep it around. Call it the Miami Heat house or whatever for now. You'll get a sponsor. The Heat is a class act, dude. Any great corporation wants to associate themselves with the Miami Heat. The Marlins, no, because they don't bring any pizzazz. They don't load the place up. They're not going to the playoffs. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to showcase your company. The Heat will showcase your company first class. They're a great organization. It was risky naming the stadium after FTX when they offer money to sponsor. No, it's not. It was not risky at all, man. You do it. You're playing hindsight. Nobody really knew that this guy didn't have the funds. That's something that you find out after. It's like Enron. You don't really know until it happens. And this has happened 1,000 times in history with bad organizations that people put their money into, and it was a rig, and they didn't know until the last moment. I had no idea. But I knew when it was already collapsing, and I told people, get your money out, get your money out. I think I saved some of you out there. There might have been some of you out there that listened to me, had your money on FTX, and I might have saved some of you. Some of you might have listened to me on Voyager or FTX. So it is what it is. Crypto exchanges are on computers, and like any computer, they can be hacked. Get a wallet and get your crypto off exchanges. Exactly. Yeah, but this is not about hacking. This is about pure fraud is what this is, not hacking. All right, let's get ready for hour number 2. Manny Navarro will join us in hour number 2. The Miami Hurricanes are wrapping up their season. Tomorrow night, we'll be at Walk-Ons with our pregame coverage starting off at 6 o'clock. Kickoff will be at 8. We'll have all kinds of prizes and giveaways like we do every single week over there at Walk-Ons. So come on out and join us, man. We'll have some fun at Walk-Ons. Love to meet you, take some pictures. talk some stuff. And obviously I can chat with you all throughout the game as we walk around and give out prizes. And every quarter we give out prizes, hundreds of dollars of prizes every single Saturday. Sometimes we get over $1,000 in prizes. It's crazy, man. We've been giving away a lot of prizes out there. So come on out and join us, man. I'd love to see you out there. Walk-Ons is in Kendall, right off of the Turnpike and Kendall Drive. You go west about 10 minutes off of 162nd and Kendall Drive. You'll see us there. Big, giant, beautiful sports bar. The roof is like 30 foot high. TVs everywhere, and they've added like an extra 70 new TVs because they had to replace, because the old management had the wrong TVs, and so they had to replace all of them, man. And they've got some beautiful TVs and everything. They've got an outside patio to eat if you don't feel comfortable inside and you want to eat outside. They got beautiful fans and everything keeping you cool. So it's a really great place. The service is awesome. It's really hard to get good service. You'll get it there at Walk-Ons. And the food, oh my God, it is amazing. So join us tomorrow for the myedgedrink.com Miami Hurricanes pregame and postgame shows at Walk-Ons in Kendall. Manny Navarro is next for hour number 2, live from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canes Wear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All righty, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Manny Navarro. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Feeling good, man. How are you doing?
Can't complain. We're out at Acura. I slept like a baby with all that tryptophan in my body, so it was good, bro. You know, a lot of turkey.
Yeah, we had a little carne de puerco as usual that we do here in the Navarro house. I'm actually up in Gainesville right now. My brother's buying a car over here because it's too expensive over in St. Augustine, so we came to pick one up in Gainesville, and I'll be driving back tomorrow for the game. So
why didn't you bring his ass down here to Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, bro? We set him up.
I should have, right? I mean, I should tell him that now before he comes back with a car, as he's inside with my dad now negotiating. But we'll see. We'll see what we do.
Doing, bro? I could have set him up here, bro. Come on.
I know.
Yeah, I have the whole Zinn family. If he wants an Acura, or if he wants a Toyota, if he wants a Fisker, if he wants a Subaru, come on, bro. I got the entire Zinn family. I could hook the man up.
Well, you may have to hook me up here at some point soon, so I will take advantage of that.
Yeah, bro. So just go to Craig Zinn Automotive. They have Lexus also. I think they got several different. So it doesn't have to always be Acura. You know what I mean? We've got a couple. So man, no, seriously, if you need it, bro, I'll take care of you. I'll hook you up with the folks down here, man. So they're good people, man. The entire Zinn family, man, they work their asses off. So it's good stuff. So yeah, tell your brother, man. And on top of that, he gets a free trip down to South Florida, hang out a little bit. I mean,
that's true.
Bonus,
yeah, a little bonus.
Bonus.
We'll see how the negotiations go here. We'll see what he tells me when he comes out.
And what do you see about the negotiations tomorrow night? Can the Canes negotiate a win tomorrow night?
Well, I'm hoping so. I think there's a lot of guys on that team that want to win and go to a bowl game. People forget last year. There were a lot of kids that didn't get to play in a bowl game because Miami had to pull out of the Sun Bowl because of COVID. So there's some kids that obviously would like to get that experience that are leaving. You got 10 seniors on this roster that would love to go to a bowl game and experience that. So we'll see. But Pittsburgh's playing well. They've won 3 in a row. They've got a good core. They've got a good running back in Israel Abanikanda. And, they do a good job. Their front is always good. That's a very good Pat Narduzzi team every single year.
And they've given the Canes their share of troubles too, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, Miami's won 4 in a row, but they've had to scrap and fight. Last year, Miami won up there in Pittsburgh, but that was a different Miami team that had a whole lot of offense. Can score a lot of points with Rhett Lashley and Charleston Rambo and Mike Harley and some of the guys that they had in that game that aren't available for this one. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, but it's definitely going to be a challenge because that Pittsburgh defense is still pretty good.
Van Dyke plays?
I think he's going to give it a go. My understanding is he's going to warm up with the intention to play. I think, kind of similar to Florida State. We'll see him out there in uniform going through what he needs to go through, and then they'll make that determination. But I think the plan all along has been for him to come back for that last home game, and if he feels good, if his arm's not giving him any trouble, which, again, he's had a few extra weeks now to heal, right? I think that he'll give it a go. If it doesn't feel good and the coaches don't have confidence, they think it's going to be a setback for him, then he probably won't. But it'll be determined on game day.
Okay, so I just got a suggestion for the coaches there, Manny. I don't know, maybe you want to pass it on to them. Maybe they want to stand like in front of him and look at his face when he's throwing the ball. Because I remember the guy next to him. Yeah, how you feel? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Right.
Yeah. He had like this face, like he was in pain every time.
Yeah.
And the coaches, the coaches next to him, like, but he really can't see his face from the camera angle. You can tell that he can't see him, like, because he's like this, and the guy's over here, and he can't really. And then the camera's on this side, and it's seeing him, his face strain every time he has to throw. Oh no, I feel good. No, you don't, dude. Come on. You're literally in pain every time you throw. Come on, man. I mean, I admire the kid's toughness, but God, I don't want him to go out there injured also. That's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just one of those deals where it's a pain threshold, right? And how much he's limited by his motion. I know this. He's had 2 weeks off to recover from the last time he played. And it's actually going to be 3 full weeks since the FSU game. So I think the hope is that with that time, he's healed, from the initial injury, which is over a month ago now. So assuming that he's able to go and play, he probably gives Miami its best shot. Let's face it. I mean, with Clemson's defense in the front that they have and the front that Pitt has with Kalijah Kancey and some of those guys that they have got up there, you need a guy that can get rid of the ball quickly and throw the ball downfield. And I love Ja'Carri Brown. I think he's got a future playing quarterback. I just think it's really hard to ask a kid who's a true freshman to come in and deliver right away. And his strength, we see it. It's his legs. And I don't know that he's got enough weapons around him right now to keep defenses honest. So and to respect his arm. So I think if you can win this game, it's probably with number 9 at quarterback.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. There's no doubt about it that if you got Van Dyke, at least you feel like maybe you've got a shot. Winning is the only way they get into a bowl game.
Well, no, I mean, look, you can go in as a 5-7 team. You need the APR scores, right? That's a new wrinkle to college football because there's so many bowl games that they've taken 5-7 teams in the past. But it all depends on your APR score, your graduation rate, those kind of things. They want to reward the schools that do well academically. And then, of course, you could always have teams that just decline, right? That say, I don't want to go to a bowl game. I've got too many kids that are opting out or whatever. And so those kind of things could potentially lead to them getting a game. But I think right now, if they want to get in, they gotta win for sure and get to 6 wins, and that'll help push them probably to the Birmingham Bowl or something of that ilk.
So you're saying we're Eastern Vanderbilt or Southern Eastern Vanderbilt? Is that where we are now?
Basically, yes.
We're going to get in on academics now. That is just beautiful.
So it works.
That's beautiful. Wow. That is awesome. All right. I think we should all wear glasses inside the helmets. I mean, every student should wear glasses. If they show up, right, if they get in there on 5-7 and they get in because of the academics, then we should have glasses. They should have the new jerseys should have painted on because you can't, because it would be obviously dangerous out there to have the pens, literally, but painted onto the shirt like they have a pen and a protector of the pens.
Yes.
Remember, it's not just the pens. You've got to have a pen protector too.
Correct.
So just in case. So I think that if we do that, and then, hey, at least the Canes can actually, make like real academic commercials.
There you go. Hey, listen.
We can't make it on athleticism, but we make it on academics. Yeah.
They would have just beat Middle Tennessee. This wouldn't be a problem. But this is what happens when you lose to Middle Tennessee. So,
all right. Well, we're too dumb to beat Middle Tennessee, but we're smart enough to get into a bowl game. All right. That's actually pretty good.
Great. Okay. It's a good way to wrap up the season, right there.
That's kind of us. Yes. Come join the Hurricanes, where we get in with our smarts, not with our athleticism. That's absolutely a new one right there. If that happens, transfer. Is there any truth that they've built tents outside of the athletic area where the kids can hang out there and get in line already for the transfer portal?
Yes, absolutely. And, I think 6 of them have already announced it publicly. I'm expecting close to 24 ultimately, not including the graduates. And like I said, there's 9 or 10 guys graduating or have graduated already that are out of eligibility. There'll be another, close to 24, I think, walking out the door here between now and December 5th when the transfer portal window opens. So, look, a lot of them are guys that never played here. Oh, I mean, they've announced it. Every time they've announced their tweets, I've put out how many snaps they've actually played on defense or offense. And if you look at the numbers, there's really not a lot of guys who were contributors. And that's part of the reason why Miami's 5-6 right now, right? Because you take these guys, they get scholarships, they come to your program, and the reality is they probably should have never been here. And until Mario changes that, until Miami goes back to having a real top 10 recruiting class every single year, not, whatever it is that the rankings say, but a real recruiting class that fits the bill, then you're going to end up having seasons like this. And this, look, 5, 6 wins, 7 win seasons. It's not like that. This is the first time it's happening. It's happened quite a bit in the last 20 years. So
too many.
And now the transfer portal will give these guys an opportunity to go play for an FCS program or, a lower G5 type program and get on the field and play. My argument to everybody is, oh, this is this is so terrible. The Hurricanes, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we'll go find the guys who left Miami and are now superstars elsewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Just shouldn't have been there in the first place. And that's why a talent evaluator is so important. I think Mario is so good at that. I don't think you're going to see many busts here with Mario in charge.
Here's the other thing that I want to ask you about this. And again, this is coming from pure ignorance here. I'm just kind of thinking a little outside the box, and that's why I mention it. You're going to have, you just said 24, probably. Okay, so let's say 25 guys are walking out the door. And you already have your set of scholarships that are going to roll over every year from people that normally walk out.
Yep.
So we're probably talking somewhere in the neighborhood of 35, 40 things that are going to be available, right? Scholarships are going to be available. All right. So if you're Mario, in today's world, the way football teams are built now, you're not really looking to give 40 scholarships, right? To guys that are going to be here for 3-4 years. You're probably looking at 75% of that being scholarships. The other 25, you're looking for people that are liquid transfers that come in for 1 year and out, so you can actually have a group of players every year that you can do that with, so you can kind of have shortcuts every year to kind of help you, correct?
100%. That's the way you win nowadays. That's the way you turn things around quickly. And I think while in a perfect scenario, you'd get 25 top 100 recruits, that's just not the way that the world works. Miami will get 5 or 6 of the best high school players in the country to come here. They'll get another group of maybe 10 that are ranked in the top 300. And you hope that those guys develop, those 15 guys, 16 guys turn into your studs for the next 3 years. But the reality is, if you're going to win in college football, you have to go to the transfer portal. You have to find quality guys. Guys from the FCS level, I think, are becoming a lot more popular in this than before. Jared Verse is a perfect example, the kid from FSU, who is, one of the best pass rushers in the country. You got to look at to the FCS level, and I think that's a big reason why the hire of guys like Alonzo Highsmith and some of the people that they've added to their recruiting department to evaluate talent, that's really going to pay dividends for Miami. I expect them to do a really good job attacking FCS level guys that are really good guys that were missed the first time around, or maybe didn't have the grades, or whatever the case was, that they see this plug and play. Bring in, have here a year or two, win with them, send them out the door, start the next batch next year. I think that's the way college football is trending. Maybe not at Clemson, maybe not at Ohio State, maybe not at Georgia, because those guys are always going to get the best players, right? They're always going to get the best high school recruits, guys that can come in and contribute right away. The best of the best true freshmen. But I think for the most part, this is the way everybody else has to operate if they're going to have any chance to compete.
All right. What else are you working on The Athletic so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, I mean, listen, it's we put out some stuff this week already, the ACC mailbag that we do every single week. We have the True Freshman Report that I've compiled all season long, week to week to week. That's available on the website as well. I'll be covering the game tomorrow night when I drive back home tomorrow. And there'll be plenty more. I mean, look, I think recruiting and the transfer portal are going to be the hot stories the next month. Potential coaching changes. Does, a guy like Josh Gaddis stick around? as the coordinator? Does Mario make major changes to the staff? All of those are going to be questions and stories to be covered over the next month.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and catch his work there at The Athletic. Manny, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you big time.
All right, guys. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. There you go. Manny Navarro, baby.
If you're a Miami sports
Canes were Miami Hurricanes. Wrap.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. Yes, sir. All right. There we go. Anyway, let's see. The Miami Mensas are up 7-0. What's that? What's the Miami Mensas? I don't know what does King Short mean by that. No idea. Oh, the IQ. Oh, I see. The Mensas. I picked it up now. Okay, I got you now. All right. Anyway, what else do we have going on? By the way, don't forget to send in your fantasy football questions, folks. Scott Pianowski will be answering your fantasy football questions at noon. So do not waste any time. Send them in now. Send them into our Welt and Rayom text line at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056 on the Welt and Rayom text line. So send in your fantasy questions right now, and we will have them ready for you at the top of the hour. Normally, we would have Joe Shad on right now, but we cannot have Joe Shad on now because the coach is about to talk around 11:45. So that would be in the middle of our interview. So we're going to try to catch up with Joe Shad at the back end of the show. So it's better anyways. We get him after he talks to the coach. So that's actually a good thing. Can't really hurt. Dolphins favored by 14, over and unders 47. This is the kind of game, like I told you, got to work on the running game. You got the worst run defense in the NFL. I expect them to run a lot. Raheem Mostert, by the way, missed his second day in a row, knee injury. So we shall see what happens there. Keon Crossan and Raekwon Davis were able to fully practice yesterday, so that's good. You can get those guys back and get them in the mix. Those are some of the little things that went on in camp yesterday. Remember, just because you and I were relaxing watching, some Thanksgiving Day games and all that, I was not going to go to camp on Thanksgiving. I took it off yesterday. Okay, Sean and I deserve some serious time off, actually. Not just one day, but we'll take the one day that we could get, and we'll get by with it. So it is what it is. How about this? You see how Tua Tagovailoa has carried himself impeccably for 2.5 seasons now. And he, even in the bad moments, he has risen above it, even with Brian Flores. He still to this day has never really trashed Brian Flores. As much as Brian Flores deserves to get trashed, he still does not do it, okay? And kudos to him in that sense. But no matter how unfair he was treated, he never, ever complained. Never pointed fingers, never did anything like that. This past week, we saw Zach Wilson mismanage a situation completely and put himself in hot water where he is no longer the starter now. And Mike White is now the starter with the New York Jets. And Saleh can say whatever he wants, but he has put the future, not him, but Zach Wilson put his future in doubt in New York. Because now whenever he gets back to getting, and he'll get another opportunity, will he survive is a whole different ballgame, because that fan base is already going to turn on him. That media is already going to turn on him. So he's going to have to be impeccable whenever he comes back. If he is average to mediocre again, they will roast him and kick his ass right out of New York. So you saw how Zach Wilson did not handle that situation the right way. And there are, as a quarterback, you're the guy that's going to get all the praise when you don't deserve it. And guess what? You also have to be man enough to take all the heat when you don't deserve it. Because when it comes to playing quarterback, we really don't know everything that's going on. You and I and the media and fans and anybody and everybody included. The only people that really know everything that's going on are the players and the coaches in that team. They know the plays that are called. They know the responsibilities that each player had. They know if it was the quarterback's mistake, the center's mistake, the offensive line, the running back didn't pick up a block, the receiver dropped the ball, receiver, tight end, running back ran the wrong route, too deep, too shallow, whatever it was. We don't know. We don't know all the ins and outs of everything going on every play. And then that's why we generalize it. And we give the quarterback all the love, and then we give the quarterback all of the blame. And that's kind of why I was fighting last year, like telling you, no, it's not him. It's the people around him. But it's too easy to blame the quarterback. But this comes with the territory. And while I can decipher it, you can decipher it, another media member can decipher it, any of us can try to decipher and figure out what you think is really going on. We really don't know, right? And so this is part of your responsibility as a quarterback. You carry all the weight of the world on you. It's part of the game. Zach Wilson folded like a cheap tent. Justin Fields, he rises above it. Justin Fields injured his shoulder. Took so many hits because he has to run the ball, unfortunately, because he can't necessarily win games from the pocket. He can make some passes from the pocket, but he can't necessarily win games on a consistent basis from the pocket. So according to Albert Greer, Justin Fields, who, by the way, has played his ass off, threw an interception on Chicago's final drive, which allowed the Falcons to put the finishing touches on their 27-24 victory. Fields turned things around after a rough start of the season. He felt like he let his team down in Atlanta. And according to Albert Breer, Fields apologized to his Bears teammates in the locker room after the game. Fields suffered a dislocated shoulder, played through it, put the loss on himself and Chicago's offense. And Breer says Fields' defensive teammates appreciated the message and cut the apology short. How about that? So the defensive teammates stopped him as he was finishing the apology, told him they had his back. Really cool moment for everybody there. Nice sign of the culture from Matt Eberflus. Or maybe it's not a culture for Matt Eberflus, but it's a connection of your quarterback and your team. And it's what a leader does. But I told you, you don't know. I don't know. We can guess. We might be right. We might be wrong. Other media members can guess. Might be wrong. Might be right. Other fans can guess. Might be wrong. Might be right. An announcer in the booth might guess. Might be wrong. Might be right. But the only people that really know are the players. And so those guys in the locker room know exactly what Justin Fields is doing for them and how he's sacrificing. And they also know that the few wins they have, they wouldn't have it without Justin Fields. So in a game where he made a mistake, but he also did a shit ton of great stuff. And these teammates aren't going to accept his apology. They're not going to allow him to apologize. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean this in a good way. I mean this like, yo, dude, you don't have to apologize. You're a monster. You're awesome. Without you, we wouldn't even have what we have. We love you, bro. We appreciate you. That's the difference where Zach Wilson loses a franchise, loses a locker room, and now Justin Fields gets to earn a locker room, earn his teammates' respect, and in the process, you're going to see that those teammates are going to go farther for him than the Jets would ever go for Zach Wilson. And this is why Robert Saleh had no choice but to bench the kid. If he came back with him, that would destroy the locker room. That would destroy the trust from the players with Robert Saleh. And Robert Saleh was at a crossroads. He's like, okay, my quarterback just lost the locker room. I can't follow suit by defending his actions and saying and trying to justify them just because I'm trying to develop a quarterback for the sake of losing my team. And that defense has played its ass off this year for the Jets. This is how you handle things, and this is why teammates will go through walls for Tua, because for 2 years, didn't point fingers, didn't blame anybody, took all the heat himself. He was the lightning rod, and he rose above it. And now that everything's changed, everybody in that locker room knows Tua's the guy. They all believe in him. That's it. That's how you handle things. And if Zach Wilson wants to learn anything about leadership, he needs to go to the Justin Fields School of Leadership. Because that young man has done a marvelous job of handling things the right way. I really hope that guys like Jalen Hurts, Lamar, he's been at it already 5 years. I don't know if it's going to happen for him. But I'd love to see Jalen Hurts, who's still young, and Justin Fields learn how to beat people from the pocket on a consistent basis, because they will not have long careers if they have to run and run and run and run. And that's what I saw at the end of this past week when he's there with an injured shoulder, and luckily it's his non-throwing shoulder. But I said to myself, this is what happens to running quarterbacks. And he's a young stud, and he could take a pounding for now, but he can only take a pounding for so long. Eventually, you're going to miss games. So I hope that they learn to pass from the pocket, because they are assets to football, period. Character, leadership, good people. These are the kind of people you want to become franchise quarterbacks. The Jalen Hurts and the Justin Fields of the world, they have the kind of character that you want to lead football teams, man. But those kids aren't going to have great careers if they don't learn how to beat people from the pocket. That's the one thing that's left. But man, that was great by Justin Fields. That's the anti-Zach Wilson right there. That is exactly what you want from your leader. All right, let me take a quick break here. Let me rest the voice. Give me 2 minutes. We'll come back on the other side right here on the Big O Radio Show, live from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane, Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys?
Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Always love the people that, they talk crap. But the thing is, if you're going to talk crap on my timeline or on my show, you better be ready because I'm going to come after you. Like this fool, Julian Rodriguez, he goes, he's no smaller than Drew Brees. He's being effective. Actually, more than that, he's thriving. Big O is a bit over the top. He also comes across like he was a Tua guy all along. He wasn't. I remember listening to his podcast during the pandemic when he didn't want Tua. I never said I didn't want Tua. What I said was I would not trade for Tua. Like at 5, people wanted to trade up for him, and I was like, no, because of the injury history. The injury history is something that scared me. For sure. It always scared me about Tua, the injury history. To this day, I mean, till just a couple weeks ago, I was very concerned if he doesn't learn how to, throw the ball away or slide or whatever, his career is over. He's not going to make it. What did I tell you? He won't make it a year 7 like this. He will not have a long career. Injuries were always a concern for me with him. But at no point did I ever say he was not a baller. Never. I know he can play. I was convinced he could play. Now, the injury stuff, hell yeah, it scared the crap out of me. That's the only thing I ever worried about with Tua. And to me, that's the only legit concern you ever had about Tua. But at no point did I ever not say, he can't play. No, he's not going to be a good player at this level. Injuries were the only thing that would keep me away from Tua. That's it. And I understood it. If you didn't even draft Tua because of the injuries, I got it. I get it. I get it that it scares the crap out of you. Hip is something serious. But if you tell me that he's going to be fine, then I know he's going to ball. He's going to be a player. I had zero concerns about that. My concerns are, can he stay healthy? That's it. That's my only concern ever. Never. You will not find a recording that I question his abilities. His arm, his accuracy, winning, mental toughness, intelligence. Never. Durability? Who the hell doesn't question that? You know what I mean? And as time went on, I processed it and I figured it out, right? I figured it out that all his major injuries came from holding the ball for 4 or 5 seconds. And that's kind of, and by the way, Saban said it too. But this still stands. To this day, that still stands. While he can play, you and I know he will not have a long career if he goes back to that warrior mentality of, I got to do anything to keep the game alive and the play alive. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's not the Super Bowl. Okay, it's not the playoffs. Okay, playoff Super Bowl, you got to kill yourself. I get it. You got to take some chances. I get it. But see, that's where people, want to spin. You can try to spin whatever. Man, all the audio's there, all the videos there. It's all there. People can find it easily. Injury concern is the only reason I could stay away from Tua. That's it. But at no point did I ever doubt that he could ball. None whatsoever. That's other people out there. That's people like see, that's the problem with the disbelievers, the haters, whatever you want to call yourself of Tua, and that guy Julian obviously is one. Notice how even in that statement he says he's being effective. Actually, he's more than that. He's thriving. Why'd you even say effective? You caught yourself already at that point because you were wrong about him? But I get it. You want to take me down that hole with you. You can't. You can't. You could find that I worry about his injury history. Hell yeah, I worry about his injury history. For sure. Guaranteed I worry about his injury history. Still do. To this moment. That's the only concern I will ever have about Tua. I think I will lose my injury history concern with Tua if he doesn't get injured for a couple years, that he shows me that he's getting rid of the football and sliding and doing all the smart things to stay away. You can't stay away from Milano and a dirty play. Every player is susceptible to that. But the other stuff where he's holding on to the ball, that you gotta get rid of it. That's it. But it's funny how, idiots like that want to phrase it that way. Do you think we should sit Tua in the fourth quarter against the Texans if we're blowing them out? Oh, for sure. If they're blowing them out, yeah. That's a beautiful luxury, man. And I hope Skyler's active so I can give him playing time. According to Omar, Zach Wilson's a weirdo. His teammates think he is weirdo. Our concerns definitely about him trying to play hero ball, but it's who he is. Yeah, it is. It is who he is. Sucks, but it is who he is. Yeah. I knew I wanted to talk about something that I forgot about, and I didn't make the notes the last couple of days. And hero ball. Hero ball is a very interesting term that we all use, right? And you watch Jalen Hurts? That's hero ball, isn't it? You watch Justin Fields? That's hero ball, isn't it? You watch Lamar Jackson? That's hero ball, isn't it? He's got to run and take all kinds of hits. You watch Josh Allen? Throw the ball, find time back there to make a play, run the ball, Sean. That's hero ball, right? Tua. Hero ball, right? His crazy ass will put a shoulder into people when he shouldn't. His crazy ass won't slide. He'll go head first. His crazy ass will stay back there, find the pocket. Hero ball. Are you with me on this, right? You're all with me on this, right? Hero ball. You're all with me. We picture Russell Wilson, hero ball. Plays with injuries, all kinds of don't look at what's going on with Russell now. In general, right? Hero ball. Just follow me here. Follow me on this one. When's Justin Herbert playing hero ball? How many times do you see Justin Herbert running with a purpose? Ever? Ever? Just wondering. When do you see him play end-all, be-all football? Just wondering. When does that happen? Not that it's smart, but it kind of shows your determination and your fight and your will. Just saying. Does that happen a lot? Or is he the guy that gets rid of the ball pretty quickly and definitely is very quick to slide and, that smart? I'm just saying. Is there any edge to his game outside of his sheer beautiful athleticism that he naturally has, that I can never deny the God-given abilities of the man? But you know what I'm saying? I saw John Elway go helicopter. Just saying. Steve Young, I saw him do stuff. Steve McNair, saw some incredible toughness back there. Saying, you see that kind of stuff from, do you? Am I just making this up, or is your memory banks going through what you've seen from Justin Herbert? Just saying. Just thinking about that. It's like this conversation that's out there, right? And we see players, quarterbacks, selling out all the time for all kinds of things. And they do all kinds of crazy shit. I'm not saying it's right to do it, but it's just showing you the determination of a certain player. And I'm just saying, have you ever watched even Herbert play like Tua plays? In that fanatical, all out. You ever seen him put a shoulder into somebody? Are there any of those highlights? Just wondering. Just think about that. So when we talk about toughness and when we talk about in moments of chaos, and I've talked about this so many times over the years, that's when I know your quarterback is a good quarterback. How do you handle chaos? Do you rise above the chaos? Can you think in that chaotic situation? Did you see this not last weekend when Tua drops back, he's immediately pressured, and he throws that floater out to the sideline that only Tyreek can come back to get. And that's the anticipatory skills of it, knowing what the route is, knowing that there's pressure on him, so he has to get rid of the ball. He can't hang on to it, but he thinks quick enough to say, okay, I can throw this out there, and Tyreek will have a shot to come back and get it. And sure enough, chaos is a very interesting scenario that we put quarterbacks in. And when they are not good in chaos and they get scatterbrain, they make mistakes. Like what you saw with Justin Herbert at the end of the game this past week. When he gets pressured, throws it away into double coverage. And boom, boom, ball pops up, and the third guy gets the interception. And that's a panic mode. Because you didn't throw it somewhere where your guy can make a play. You threw it where three guys from the other team can make a play on it. Panic. And it's one of those things that you test a quarterback with. Panic. I got to keep the first down going. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to put a shoulder into that guy. But you're the quarterback. You're not supposed to. Yeah, but I need the yards. I got to get the first down. So that's Tua thinking, not thinking about injury, not thinking about my body, thinking I need to help my team. I'm just saying, how many of those plays do you see from Justin Herbert? I was thinking about that. While I'm watching all these other quarterbacks, I was going, man, Goldilocks never does that. Like, wow. Casually, he's very happy keeping a clean jersey. You know? Let's see. Who are your 2023 losses from the team during the offseason? Why would I care about that right now, dude? I'm in the middle of the good stuff. One guy wants me to predict who's going to miss, how many field goals Jason Sanders is going to miss. And now this guy wants me to worry about who they're going to lose in the 2023 offseason. Like, guys, we're in the middle of a great season right now. They got a shot at going 8-3 and taking over first place again of the division. You think I'm going to worry about that now? I'm going to worry about the Texans this week. Enjoy this week. Hopefully they win big. And then we're going to get ready for the following week, and we're going to enjoy this following. I haven't had a season like this in decades, my friends. I'm not here to think about anything that's negative in the offseason or predict some negative shit in the game going on. I'm going to live in the good moments, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I can't follow you down that negative road. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. There's no reason for me to talk about that kind of stuff right now. There's so many good things to talk about. Yes, sir.
Aaron Wilson reporting Texans cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. not practicing due to hamstring injury. Set to miss second game in a row.
One of their MVPs on that team.
Yeah,
on defense.
Yeah, it's
one of their better players.
14 points.
Yeah, exactly. I think Herbert can grow into a better QB. This is his second year. Give him a little more. This is his third year, sir. And I agree. I think he can be a good QB, man. I agree with you. Okay. I am not this anti-Herbert guy. I'm more against the anti-Herbert people. Really. That's why I do it. It's more of the absolute people who are like, oh, no, Herbert's way better than Tua. No, he's not. But, as time goes on, I will continue to remind all the Herbert people of that, over the next couple of years. I will do that. Yes, Herbert runs people over. Oh, send me the highlights. Let's see. Let's see. Well, this guy's already an idiot. Already using disgusting language. So we'll get rid of that clown. Dude Johnny, you can get rid of that clown. He's already using disgusting language. So we're not going to allow him to you can watch, my brother, but you can't comment anymore. And you can go ahead and get another email, but once you start with stupidity, I'll just block it again and you're done. So we'll get rid of your clown ass. What else do we have? Herbert is a freak athlete with a cannon arm, but smooth delivery. Ain't him neither win. But smooth deliver ain't him neither winner history. Dear eyes. Does have kind of deer eyes. It kind of looks like that. What else do we have? Josh Allen took a number of years to come around. I think Herbert will come around. Herbert's done a good job overall, dude. He hasn't been a bad quarterback or anything. He's a good quarterback. He hasn't necessarily been clutch. Doesn't win big. But, so far he hasn't done that in his career. Mike McCoy says it will be 100%. The chess match between head coaches will be epic. With who, Mike? What coaches is he talking about? He can't be talking about tomorrow. I'm sure he is. Mo says, I bought tickets for every game this year. Been waiting 20 years for this level of football. Go Fins. Rosendo says, as Oddball would say, why don't you knock it off with the negative waves? Why don't you dig how beautiful it is to be out here? Why don't you say something righteous and hopeful for a change? Eventually, all those shots. What were you going to say? Huh? Okay. Oh, the video dumped and now it's back? I don't know. What did I say?
Did O keep talking as the video blanked out? I'm sorry.
Did you guys get here? Well, it says frozen Big O. So I don't know. I didn't notice if they got the point we made. But anyway, so we shall see. We shall see.
And also, he's jumping ahead. He's talking the Niners game. He's bypassed the Texans game.
Mike no, I gotta enjoy this one first. We'll get to the Niners game next week.
Listen, I'm just happy he's not talking Canes.
Yes. Yeah, yes. Everyone's skipping the Texans. Yeah. You're right. Herbert looks like the villain in Shrek 2. Prince Charming, I think. Nothing informative, just a random observation. Boza's ex, Jenna Berman, is a hottie. Okay, I didn't know that. I guess we'll have to look her up. All right. I guess so. By the way, get your fantasy football questions ready. You can start putting them on the chat board because Scott Pianowski is going to join us to start off hour number 3 in our Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone. So if you've got, Schefter says Von Miller did not tear his ACL, but there is damage and is out indefinitely. Could be a couple of weeks, could be season ending. Also, he's not ready for the Dolphins game. Don't cry for me, Buffalo. I don't wish injury on anybody, but our Dolphins have had a ton of injuries and nobody cares. So, Von Miller, too bad, so sad. Sorry, we lost Agba. What are you going to do? I can't do anything about that, but that's one less problem that Tua Tagovailoa has to worry about. And, by the way, Austin Jackson or Brandon Shell or whoever else is playing in there. Let's see. Cameron Wolf says Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel says it will be an uphill battle for running back Raheem Mostert to play on Sunday versus the Texans, though he wouldn't completely rule him out. It could be the Jeff Wilson show. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought it was because he had missed the last 2 days of practice. Mostert. This is why you can't give him a big load at running back because he's been an injury-prone running back. He's terrific, but you've got to kind of pace this guy. Okay, the same Cameron Wolf that told me on a post game, we should give him more carries. I'm like, no, you can't give him more carries. 18 is more than enough. I'd keep him at 15 to 18. Mostert cannot be carrying a ton. It's not who he is. Chip Taylor, why give Austin Jackson and Eichenberg every opportunity to the detriment of the team? Well, they did already. I don't think those guys are coming back to start anyways. Well, Eichenberg's done for the year anyway, so that doesn't matter. It's a moot point. But Austin will be back. I think it's depth only. Left guard, right tackle. If anything happens to Shell or to Jones, then he would fill in. I think Austin's going to be the swing guy now, which is a good thing. And by the way, Austin was not playing bad. Before he got injured, I was liking what I was seeing from Austin Jackson a lot more than Eichenberg. Got to tell you. Even though they thought Eichenberg was kind of turning the corner the last couple of weeks, I did not see as much, but whatever. So, Rosendo says, let's enjoy this beautiful season in South Florida. Go Fins. Agree, Big O. Haven't felt so good about the Fins in such a long time. Exactly, man. Why am I going to worry about, negative stuff? All right, let's take a break. Give me 2 minutes. Scott Pianowski will join us on the other side. Get your fantasy football questions in right now. Send them in also on the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. We got Scott Pianowski next.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Flowens, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
points, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. PPR. Draft. Keeper. Dynasty. It's the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Keep up with your fantasy football teams by visiting any of the 8 great Sports Grill locations. Sports Grill, good food, good drink, good friends. Here's Scott Pianowski.
Baby, and is he there? The man, the myth, the legend that is Scott Pianowski. Scott, let me ask you something. Are you much of a Don Henley fan?
Sure.
Are you much of a Tom Petty fan?
A gigantic Tom Petty fan.
All right, listen to this. I had no idea, all right? Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers guitarist Mike Campbell.
Legend.
Yeah. Okay, he wrote The Boys of Summer. Did you know that?
I did know that. Yeah, and Petty decided he didn't want to record it.
Yeah, so while experimenting with the Linn drum machine, he showed it to Tom Petty, but they felt it did not fit with the record that they were working on, Southern Accents. He then gave it to Don Henley, and the rest is history. Wow,
classic song, man. Yeah, counting those Deadhead stickers on Cadillacs.
Yep.
We're all getting old.
Yep. Tell you, I just saw that right now. I follow this guy, Eric Alper, on Twitter, and he's always
great.
got
Yeah, he's fantastic. Great music. A mandatory music follow.
Right, exactly. I'm a big music nut, so he always comes up with something, and I always love to find out about music facts and stats and all kinds of stuff. And
I love the genesis of anything. The documentary on the Eagles is outstanding, by the way.
That's the greatest rockumentary ever.
It's one of them. The Laurel Canyon documentary is really good. Obviously, the Beatles just had that monster one that came out about a year ago or so.
Well, that one comes close, because what I loved about the Eagles rockumentary is that they had so much video and pictures of their entire freaking history that it's so rare to get that. Instead of somebody normally just telling you what happened and maybe they show a still picture or something, these dudes filmed almost everything that they did. It was all documented. And to me, that's what took that Eagles rockumentary, over the top, especially when they're showing the Glenn Fry and Fingers, argument on stage that I'm going to effing kill you and all that.
Right. Yeah. Famous. Every band has an arc where it feels like the band is unstoppable and then the bands don't last. But and the rules were different for journalism back then. I'm also a huge fan of Almost Famous, and Jim Miller, the great journalist, did a multi-series podcast on Almost Famous. It's like 5 or 6 hours, all about the genesis of it, who was supposed to be in certain roles and all that stuff. Cameron Crowe, when he did a story on the Eagles once, he lived with the band when they were recording one of their albums. He lived with them for like a month. That would never happen today.
No
Bob
way.
Ryan, the great, take it back to sports for a second. When Bob Ryan was covering the 1976 NBA Finals, he was friends with Paul Westphal, who had previously been on the Celtics, at that time on the Phoenix Suns. When the series moved to Phoenix, Bob Ryan stayed at Paul Westphal's house. Can you imagine that today? That would never happen. No. You imagine like Adam Schefter, bunking up with Tua or
no shot.
Jalen Waddle. That would never happen.
No, listen, dude. I've been going to the Senior Bowl for 20-something years now. And, one of the places where I used to meet some scouts and coaches and assistant coaches was Sammy's. And Sammy's is a strip club. Okay. Now, remember, I've been going there for 23 years now, right? So 20 years ago, 18 years ago, 15 years ago, what didn't we have? We didn't have phones, and we didn't have cameras in our phones and all that kind of stuff. Now, when you go to the Senior Bowl, now when you go to the Combine, now when you go to the East-West Shrine game, guys won't go to any questionable places. And when they go out to bars, they try to find nooks and crannies and corners that they can't take even pictures of them just having a drink in their hand.
Yeah, it's a different time. Think of the way it was when Mickey Mantle lived, right? I mean, where the media knew what was going on but didn't report it. And we just live in such a different era now where it's a lot of gotcha out there, right? People just want to look at you in a bad light and try to take you down. So,
dude, I saw coaches and assistant coaches and scouts and whatever, and getting dances and going into the champagne room. And as Chris Rock would say, there is no sex in the champagne room. So things, and it's not something that I didn't care about that, dude. I want to report if you're getting drafted or you're getting cut or you're getting traded or you're starting or whatever. That's all I give a shit about. I don't care about your personal life, bro. Your personal life is your personal life. But in today's world, forget about it, dude. Yeah, you're right. Those days are done, man. Absolutely.
Much different time.
They are very protected.
I will say this though, I do want to get you in the champagne room of fantasy football. So let's try to give out some top-notch, Sagat rated fantasy advice to the people out there.
So does Aaron Jones play this week? If not, do I start AJ Dillon is being asked.
I hope Jones plays. I don't trust Dillon. Dillon hasn't had double-digit points since week 1. And the Packers are underdogs again. Dillon is not a great pass receiver. I don't know what else is on your roster, but it's not. We would have thought before the season, any game Jones didn't play, Dillon is an auto start. I don't feel that way right now.
Okay. Need one PPR: Juju, Palmer, Watson, or Campbell.
Juju, if he goes, just because he's tied to Mahomes. Yeah, if you can't go that route, then I'd be fine with Watson, who has 5 touchdowns in 2 games. Finally, somebody in the circle of trust in Green Bay.
So let me ask you something. Let me spin it this week. You got to start Tyreek. You got to start Waddle every single week, right? Mm-hmm. How concerned are you this week that they'll just make it the Jeff Wilson show? Because Mostert now was just declared kind of a Coach McDaniel just said it's going to be an uphill battle for him to play. So the Jeff Wilson show, that's going to be, I mean, if you have Jeff Wilson, I think he turns into almost a number 1 this week. I know that's kind of loose. He really should be a number 2 this week, but you're playing against Houston, the worst rush defense out there. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the backup running backs will probably get some play here. How much passing are you going to do, right? It's like you're almost nervous. Like you have to start Tyreek, but I don't know if you're going to get the regular Tyreek production this week.
Yeah, it could easily be a game where Tua throws 25 passes or fewer. And I agree with you. Unless you're absolutely loaded the running back position, you would play Jeff Wilson. Miami about, 14-point favorite. Backup quarterback, too. That's the other thing. For fantasy, we want – when you start an offensive player, you would like the other team to fight back a little bit. But does Houston have any fight back? Maybe this could easily be this game could get out of hand very quickly. So, yes, you have to play Waddle and you have to play Hill. And I think you even have to play Tua. But it's going to be a case where I think they throw about 25 passes. And Wilson, unless you're absolutely loaded, I'm just going to agree with everything you said. Unless you're absolutely loaded in the backfield, Jeff Wilson's in your lineup this week.
Yeah, and I know, God, you got to play Tyreek, man, but I would not be surprised if Tyreek or Waddle put up pedestrian numbers.
What can hurt you in a game like this, Big O, is that if the defense scores a touchdown, because then you lose the possession, right? Like say the backup quarterback throws some awful pass in the flat, somebody picks it, takes it back. Now the game has gotten closer to people being pulled, and you didn't even get an offensive possession out of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy, dude. All right. Fantasy question here. Pick 2. Mike Evans, Jamar Chase, or Jonathan Taylor?
Because you're so blessed with options, I would make Chase give me the prove it week. He's just missed a lot of time. We're not sure he's going to play. Could be on a limited snap count. Taylor looks reborn. Jeff Saturday, right? They won the first game, and they easily could have beaten Philadelphia last week, and Tampa Bay off a bye. I would think Evans is a good play. Look, if you want to play Chase over Evans, I don't have a problem with it. You have to play Taylor.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. You look at what's it called, the tight ends this week. Mm-hmm. Give me a sleeper tight end in this week's matchups.
Logan Thomas, 5 catches, I believe, last week. Heineke likes him. He's been endorsed as the starter the rest of the year. And even though the Saints get the Niners and the Niners swallow up the tight end, the way Juwan Johnson is getting used in the red zone, he's got decent touchdown equity. So there's a couple of guys that I've looked at. I'll say this too. I know he's only going to get 3 or 4 targets. I would actually be okay to play Gesicki too. I think Gesicki has maybe a 20% chance of scoring a touchdown this week.
Wow. Really?
Tight end's awful. Tight end every week. It was Pitt's last week. The week before it was Ertz and Goddard. And the problem is when these tight ends get hurt, it's not like other positions. Like a running back gets hurt and it's good for somebody else. When a tight end gets hurt, if they don't have a talented tight end, the Lions traded Hawkinson. Nobody steps up at that position. We're losing so many tight end starters. It's just killing the fantasy landscape. Also, the Chargers get their tight end back too, Everett. So make sure he may be floating around on a waiver wire. Maybe he can bail you out. And then there's teams like the Colts, right? They use 3 tight ends, so you can't start any of them.
Yeah, the carousel thing always becomes an absolute pain in the ass. It usually happens more with running backs on certain teams that they have the carousel deal going on. But when you have it with tight ends like that, I mean,
another desperation play if you're super desperate. It's too bad we didn't talk a couple days ago. I might have given you Hunter Henry. Should have had 2 touchdowns last night. Maybe Taysom Hill in New Orleans. I know for about 4 or 5 weeks he didn't get used, but the Saints have come out and said we screwed this up. We should have been using him more. He got a lot of activity last week. Again, the Niners defense is starting to look nasty again, and that game could get out of hand. But I think this will be a game where Taysom Hill gets in maybe 15 snaps. And remember, when he's on the field, he's the guy touching the ball.
Give me a couple guys you want to stay away from this week.
Man, the rest of the Saints, really, you have to play Olave. Alvin Kamara in a keeper league, I'd be trying to trade him. I think he's going to get suspended next year. I don't like the look of that. And you look at the Rams, I think the Rams have the worst fantasy offense right now. They're down to a 3rd-string quarterback. I don't trust any of their running backs. I'm not playing Robinson. I would not like to play Tyler Higbee. I mean, again, at tight end, you might be forced back into that corner. And Dameon Pierce has been really good to us, but as a 2-touchdown underdog, and last week we saw him bottom out, I would play Jeff Wilson over Dameon Pierce without even thinking about it. There's just one illustration of how I would play that.
All right, let me. I thought about this question. I'm not in this position, but I got a buddy of mine that is in this position. He's got Geno Smith, and so he goes and trades his backup quarterback, which he had a pretty good backup quarterback. So he gets rid of his backup quarterback, and I go to him because he needed a running back badly. And I said, "Are you sure Geno's going to carry you all the way?" And he goes, "Well, he's been phenomenal." Would you count on Geno Smith all the way through your playoffs? Or if you have Geno Smith and you're riding this hot hand, how important is it to have that backup quarterback just in case Geno Smith becomes the Geno Smith we all used to know?
This is where you have to calibrate your waiver wire, and you have to go and look right now at the quarterbacks and ask yourself, are there 4 or 5 guys I'd be fine with if Geno Smith got hurt this week? And remember, everybody playing in week 12. There's a couple teams off in week 13. There are 6 teams that don't play in week 14. So there's going to be a lot of shuffling in your league, and people are going to have to make moves. You want to be a week ahead of that stuff. So what I would probably do, I'm fine to play Smith this week. I think Seattle's actually a really good bet too. I don't know why they're only giving 3.5 points in that game, but I think next week, before the 6 teams on bye in week 14, is maybe when you ensure your Geno Smith bet and try to get that spare tire that you hope you don't have to use, but you may need for 100 miles.
I mean, that to me, I would be a little bit worried carrying Geno Smith all the way through. It was, I mean, okay, Derek Carr is a pretty good quarterback, and I know you need a running back, but I just was like, damn, dude, and so I forgot who he picked up off the waiver wire to kind of fill in. And I was just like, I get it. He's played well, but
we all know the it's a snow globe league. It's a very fluid league. And, the way we feel about players now could be radically different from how we feel about them in the fantasy playoffs. It's just the nature of the game.
All right. What are you working on in Yahoo so folks can check you out this week, my friend?
Yeah, I put out my sleepers on Wednesday. Of course, we have our extensive staff rankings you can check out at any time. And on Sunday, Fantasy Football Live, our flagship show, the final hour before kickoff. Get your questions answered by me at Yahoo Fantasy. I'm going to do some picks today, too. I mentioned Seattle was a game that I like. We're over 60% against the spread, so we're trying to put a couple bucks in your pocket that way. Want you in the playoffs, man. Just get in. You don't have to have the best team. Just get in, do some damage. December again. Who's we could be starting Jeff Wilson. Who knows? He could be the December to remember player. It's totally possible, man. He was somebody people were cutting when McCaffrey was traded to the Niners, and now he's in the pilot's chair. So you have to stay on top of this stuff. You have to be vigilant. Just get in the playoffs. We'll try to take.
I think he plays like a number 1 back this week. I do. I know he's like a number 2 or a flex normally because everybody usually has running backs, but I think whoever has Jeff Wilson this week is going to love freaking life, dude, because the Dolphins kind of got their running game going last week, and now they're playing again against another team that's really bad against the run. And right now, Robert Jones and Brandon Shell at left guard and right tackle have kind of solidified the line, and they're playing the best that they've played. And I think this is one of those games where, last week they worked on the running game against Cleveland. This week they'll do it on Houston because I think for the next couple of weeks, you're going to need that running game going into the winter. So I just think that the Dolphins are kind of clicking at the right time with the running game. And this is a week where if you own Jeff Wilson, I think you're going to bank, dude.
Yeah, I'll give you another state of Florida running back who's in a really good spot. I like Rashid. It's not as clean as Wilson because Wilson's going to have more opportunity. I think this could be the week that Rachaad White becomes the primary back in Tampa Bay. And they're playing Cleveland. Talk about a team that can't stop the run. They can't stop a nosebleed right now. Just had their bye week. And a lot of times we see rookies take a step forward in the second half of their rookie year. Okay, we've seen a lot with receivers, right? I mean, look at how well Watson has played lately. Look at what Traylon Burks has done. He went over 100 yards in the last Tennessee game. So you look at the rookies taking a step up in the second half of the year. I think Rachaad White in Tampa Bay, they're not – if Fournette doesn't show much, they're going to play the hot hand. He's got the younger leg. He was 6 or 7 years younger, whatever it is. And Cleveland's run defense is atrocious. I would play Rachaad White pretty confidently, not over Jeff Wilson, but I think Rachaad White's a starter for a lot of fantasy rosters this week.
NFL South and NFL North. My God, those are bad divisions. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Scott_Pianowski and catch his exceptional work there at Yahoo Fantasy. Scotty, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up next week, my friend, and happy Thanksgiving.
Great to talk to you, and enjoy talking a little rock and roll, which is always welcome. Anytime you want to go down that path. And remember what Tom Petty once said. He said most of the things he worries about never happen anyway. So, try to keep it in perspective. Don't let the anxiety get to you. We worry about things, but most of those things never happen anyway. Let's get you in the playoffs.
Amen. Amen. Scotty, thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend, my friend. There you go. Scott Pianowski. 7 amazing locations at Sports Grill, $1.50 Bud Light bottles and draft during the NCAA and NFL games. Oh, and last time I checked, isn't there an NCAA game going on tonight? Yes, there's one going on tonight. I think Florida State are playing tonight on Friday night. Well, guess what? If you're a Gators or a Seminole fan, you can get out to one of the 7 great locations, enjoy the new cocktails that are only $5 during those games, the cherry lemonade, the tailgate tea, bone-in wings, 15% off, $12 domestic pitchers. The hot sauces are available for you to take home. The buffalo sauce, the Miami Heat, the blackberry, the barbecue, the Dale. Doral is coming soon. I'm hearing December 1st. Kendall locations. On Mondays, they've got the milkshakes and the rock and roll music playing, baby, all day long. Mondays, they got the $7 smash burger. Tuesdays, the $2 tacos, chicken, beef, or fish. And Wednesdays, the kids eat free with the purchase of an adult entree. I just had some special grilled wings the other day. I love it. Sports Grill. That's your Sports Grill fantasy football zone.
PPR Draft. You've been listening to the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Go to sportsgrill.com to find a great location near you. Fantasy football fans, subscribe to the Big O Radio Show on YouTube and all other platforms to catch up with all our fantasy football insight provided by Scott Pianowski and Andy Behrens.
All right. Okay. Sorry, I got to text at the same time. Apologies. Anyway, a lot of things to talk about. We've got Cameron Wolf joining us here at the bottom of the hour, so we'll talk a little Dolphins with him. At 1 o'clock, we will have Joe Shad, so we'll get to talk to him. I like it. So we'll talk a lot of Dolphins here in the final about 40 minutes of the show. Big O, have you ever eaten peanut butter ice cream? Yeah, I've tried that. Not a big, I like peanut butter, but like for an entire, cup of ice cream? Probably not. Probably not my thing. Big O, have you heard any news on Neymar's sprained right ankle? No, I have not. I gotta be honest, bro. I've been very half-assed with this World Cup. This whole thing about this place, it's got me like kind of disappointed, to be quite honest, that they're doing it in this place. But I'll watch at 2:00.
Did you see his ankle? The pictures?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah. Don't look good.
Doesn't look good at all.
Don't look good.
Looks like he has an egg on that side.
And he doesn't look like the toughest person in the world, physically. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of skinny, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's pretty much cost him the cup, and he's gone, and he's done. So they'll have to do it without him. I mean, they're loaded anyways. They got plenty of talent, so it's not like it's great to have Neymar, but we're not talking about a country lacking talent when it comes to football. They kind of like it's like a factory there of guys. Let's see, what else do we have? I have Mostert in one of my leagues. I benched him and picked up White and dropped Peoples-Jones. That's a good move. Big O. I don't support Qatar, so I'm out on the World Cup. You mean Qatar? Okay, not Qatar, but Qatar. Yeah, me too, John. It's just watching this. I feel dirty watching this World Cup, and that's kind of why I've really and I don't really talk much about it. Don't spend too much, and I really wanted to do more, but as we've gotten closer to this whole Qatar situation, and God. And let me tell you, you see, again, go to YouTube. It's available to all of us. You're on it right now. Those of you that are listening on podcast, whenever you're listening, go look for John Oliver, Last Week Tonight, whatever it's called, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, or Tonight Last Week with John Oliver, whatever it's called. And the latest episode that talks about the World Cup and Qatar and all that, and go to the 2-minute and 10-second mark. Okay? I want you to watch that piece of Beckham. One, it's freaking embarrassing and hilarious. How it can be both, it is. All right? It is. So, my car is pulled up. Oh, I love it. It's a Rolls Royce, and we've got a German Shepherd in the back of a Rolls Royce. See? That's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's how it happens. Anyone that rolls a dog in class is all right with me. See? Dogs deserve to roll in class. Wow. I'm not going to say what I just heard right now. Oh, man. That is awesome. There's nothing like a German Shepherd in a Rolls Royce. That's the best. That would be my twisted ass, by the way. If I had a Rolls Royce, my dogs have to go in whatever car I'm in, because my dogs are just as important as anybody else. Oh, love it, man. Love it. That is too funny. That is too funny. Too freaking funny. Anyway, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? Bills beat Detroit yesterday. We talked about it 28-25, and I'm just not impressed whatsoever with that coaching staff at all. But the news with Von Miller, that's not good for them. Good for the Dolphins. Cowboys beat the Giants 28-20. Sorry about that. 28-20. Dallas improves to 8-3. Giants drop to 7-4. I've told you many times, I'm not necessarily a Giants believer. I love what Daboll's done. Just not a Giants believer right now. I don't think that team is going to really make any noise. They're going to get into the playoffs, I think, at 7-4. If you don't get into the playoffs, it'd be pretty embarrassing. But I would expect them to get into the playoffs, but I just don't expect them to make a lot of noise. Still, Daniel Jones doesn't do enough to convince me. You know what I'm saying? And again, Dable's done a fabulous job of getting the max out of him. Overall, Vikings beat the Pats, which was great for us to see the Pats drop to 6-5. Miami wins this week. They'll go to 8-3. Not that I'm worried about it, but I will say, can I give Mac Jones a little love? He actually played a decent game. I mean, yeah, dude, he 28 of 39, 382 yards, a couple touchdowns. He made some nice throws in the game. I'm not necessarily like this Mac guy or anything. I never thought he was better than Tua, like some idiots out there. Dude, you know that I was trying to find the tweet because I told you how I did that search engine stuff that I didn't know you can do that. And I was trying to find Tua Davis Mills because I remember last year somebody tweeting back at me, oh, please, the guy from Houston, Davis Mills, is better than Tua. You know? Beautiful German Shepherd, too, by the way. Well-behaved, also. Yeah, well-behaved. He comes out, says hi to everybody, walks back in. That's it. That's classy. That's it. That's how you treat dogs, bro. There you go. Beautiful. Gotta love that. And William Youngblood says, golf always folds like a cheap tent. Yeah. That's why throwing that deep shot with golf is asinine. On 31, you get that first down, you burn the clock, okay? That if you're going to settle for a field goal, I'm going to settle for a field goal with a second or two left. I'm not giving the ball back to a great quarterback with all his timeouts. I'm not doing that. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, didn't you know they were going to score? Right? Like when they got the ball back.
Yeah, I was like,
when they got the field goal, you're like, they left
yeah.
too much time on the clock and they've got all their timeouts.
Yeah. And then they went like prevent or something and let Stephon. Well, actually, it was a nice pass. It was a nice pass.
Yeah, no, it was a hell of a pass.
Yeah.
Hell of a pass.
But here's my question. Is it one of those things where, and this sounds so silly.
Three guys were in that area.
It's the Detroit Lions. So this is going to sound probably stupid just saying it. Was it a situation of them trying to be just smarter than the Bills? With the Bills knowing 3rd and 1, they're going to run it. So let's put the ball and let's do different.
Okay, but a short pass?
No, I agree. But I mean, I'm just saying because
just a short pass. That's all I'm asking.
It wasn't like it wasn't there. The play was there. It's just you gave it to Jared Goff to make.
And let me tell you something. The other thing, you're a franchise trying to change a culture, and you go and trade T.J. Hockenson. 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1.
And T.J. Hockenson finally won on Thanksgiving. He had to go to Minnesota to do it.
Had to go to Minnesota. But that guy was money for them and helps a guy like Jared Goff who's limited, who can't make elite plays. So give him high percentage stuff to do. But if you're Detroit and you want to change a culture, you don't change a culture by being cheap bastards and trading away one of the best tight ends in the league. A tough sumbitch that is sold out for you every year. That's not how you create culture. That's not how you create a winning team. You don't trade a guy that you desperately need. And T.J. Hockenson on that 3rd and 1, even though I would have given it to Jamal Williams or I would have done a short pass to Amon St. Brown or something, give me, a little bubble screen Amon St. Brown, and I've got my 1 yard. I know I'm going to get it, but I need to get that 1 yard so I can get a first down and a new set of downs. I'm going to make Buffalo use their timeouts. I'm going to use the hell out of that clock. And if I'm going to tie this game, I'm going to make sure I'm going to tie the game without Josh Allen being able to get the ball. But you got cute and you think you have Tom Brady or Russell Wilson, young Russell Wilson, or whatever, Mahomes back there. You have Jared freaking Goff. And this is why you're the Detroit Lions, because you can't manage your clock, because you have a a roughing the passer penalty to keep that drive alive that was just incredibly stupid, and you could see it in this guy's face when that penalty happened. Like, oh my God, can we be this stupid? But dude, that's your team. And that's why the Detroit Lions are the Detroit Lions. But don't tell me you're trying to change your culture and you're trying to change who you are, and you go trade TJ Hawkinson. No, man. Then you're the Marlins. That's what you are, dude. You're the Marlins to me. You're developing a guy for somebody else? It's ridiculous. All right, let's get to a little Dolphins talk with our man, Cameron Wolf. We unleash the Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All right. There he is.
What's up, Bo? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, bro. I had a crap ton of turkey in me. It was great, dude, last night. The old lady knocked it out of the park. Rice and beans. Awesome. I like this fried sweet potato that she does.
Okay, yeah.
Every year, and it's one of my favorite things about Thanksgiving that she does. So, and it was relaxing, just hanging out with the family, watching the games.
Yep.
Watching the Lions be the Lions again. All those kind of things.
Yep.
So,
close, but not close enough, right?
Bro, on 3rd and 1. You got to know you have Jared Goff. You don't go for a deep shot, bro.
Yeah.
You go for you complete a short pass. You give it to Williams. Like I was saying, you want to develop a culture and you want to say you're a good franchise. You don't trade TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
You have Jared Goff, bro. He needs TJ Hawkinson. He needs a stud that makes his life easy.
Right.
And what you had to do was chew up the clock, make Buffalo use their timeouts. If you're going to kick a field goal, you're going to kick a field goal with 2 seconds left. You're not giving Josh Allen the ball back. And, if you have an elite quarterback, then you take that deep shot because you have an elite quarterback. But Jared Goff at no time has ever proven to you to be an elite quarterback. It's just ridiculous. And the clock management, the roughing the passer penalty was just incredibly stupid on that Buffalo drive.
Right.
There's just the Lions were the Lions.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. So I think this is clearly a team that, that's not ready to win.
Gritty.
And they won a few games in a row and people got to look excited about them. And maybe they're closer to the, closer to turning a corner, but that shows you how you, what good teams do and what bad teams do.
Are you old enough for the Wayne Fonts years?
No.
Okay. God damn, dude. I'm so old.
I'm a youngin', but
God damn it, bro.
But
I realize how time has flown.
The Bills were giving them every opportunity. The Bills have, by the way, not played very great football over the last 3 or 4 weeks. They're going through some things offensively. Obviously, they lost Von Miller for some time with the injury, which is a huge, huge injury. And so this is a team that, although they're 8-3, they've had some vulnerabilities. And 2 straight weeks, the Browns had them early in the first half where they were hanging around. And, if you don't put the Bills away, they'll find a way at the end, like they did this past week. And so the Bills gave the Lions every opportunity to pull the upset, win a game on Thanksgiving, and the Lions didn't want to take it. So,
and let me just add to the Tuanon facts there. Josh Allen, 24-42, 253, 2 touchdowns and interception against the Lions. Tua Tagovailoa, 29 of 36, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions against the same defense. So,
so
suck on that, haters out there. Oh, by the way, just want to run this by you because, again, 4 or 5 years ago, I'm a nutbag saying, hey, you got to fire Tannenbaum and Gase and put Chris Greer in place. And I'm a nutbag like, oh, you're an idiot. Chris Greer's been part of the problem for 15 years. And I'm like, no, he's not. They don't listen to him. He just files his reports. He gives his suggestions, and he sits back, and they don't pay attention to him. So he's not the problem, and he's proven it. Tua, obviously, everything that's, gone on. But, I don't know, about a year ago, somebody said, now's the time to get off the ex-gravy train. You thought I was crazy. Well, 10 games in an injury-riddled year where he doesn't look like himself. He's playing with 1 or 2 growing injuries. They're attacking him like a regular corner. How was my crazy statement a year ago? Does it sound so crazy now, Cameron Wolf?
Yeah, no, I think you were right. I think the reality is everything was going to be based on the quarterback. And so you're seeing the quarterback be the guy that I know you've long thought that he could be, that the Dolphins have long thought that he could be.
Well, no, at the Dolphins front office long thought he could be, not the owner, not the former coach.
Correct. The Dolphins, at least for sure when they drafted him, thought that at 5th overall he could be this guy. And when you see this guy become that, it allows you to be aggressive. It allows you to pull the trigger on Bradley Chubb and give up what you give up to get him. It allows you to see the fruition of Tyreek and Jalen Waddle being together all you could see. It allows your head coach to be as creative and effective as he has. So all of that is based on you being essentially, although it may have taken a couple of years for some people, proven right at the quarterback spot. But yeah, Chris Greer, I'd say, I talked about it on air earlier this week. The Laramie Tunsil trade started all of this. And that was one of the best trades that we have had, seen in the NFL in probably
since Emmitt Smith.
Years.
I'm old.
That's what I was about to say. I'm not as old, so I don't want to, forget a trade.
I'm giving you the ammunition. Mike Lynn, Jimmy Johnson, Herschel Walker to Minnesota for all those picks. And he got Emmett, and he got, God, I forgot what players came out of it besides Emmitt Smith exactly. Yeah, please look it up for me. But he got that Herschel Walker trade. It's wow. That's the last trade, because I don't know what Ditka got for Ricky Williams. I mean, what they got for Ricky Williams.
Right.
When Ditka traded for Ricky's rights. I don't know
what I know that Ricky went initially for all of the picks.
And a second rounder the following year. But I don't know what they got with all those picks. But I know that Jimmy got, I want to say he got Emmett. I think he might have gotten the safety, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember the damn safety's name that was all world of theirs. I think it was in those picks. He's looking it up now.
Yeah.
But I want to say, since the Jimmy trade for Herschel Walker, this is the next best trade out of all of that one.
Right.
We got the answer. Hold on.
All right. So he used them over the succeeding years. The picks acquired in those were then used to draft players such as Emmitt Smith, Darren Woodson, Russell Maryland.
Yep.
Darren
Woodson is not just any old safety.
Right. No, and Russell Maryland. And Russell Maryland. That's the third one that I forgot.
Heck of a haul. And so obviously the Dolphins didn't exactly get all the 4 guys, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Bradley Chubb, Javon Holland are the 4 that came from the Laramie Tunsil deal. Obviously, they had to make several other trades to get those guys, but essentially the initial trade set the path for them to get these guys, which are all going to be 4 core players there. And so, Chris Greer, when a lot of people had questions on should he be out with Flores, has done a really good job over the last year, establishing this core, not only for 2022, but for years and years to come. And so I think Dolphins fans should be very happy about where the state is for their team, not only for a chance to win a division this year, but also to be one of these teams we talk about for the next, 5 to 10 years.
By the way, Tua's a hell of a lot happier than you and I are after Thanksgiving because he saw that Von Miller injury. Knowing his ass, he's not like,
he probably didn't see it.
He probably feels bad for the guy knowing him because he's such a good dude. But deep down inside, he's got to go, all right, bro, I don't got to worry about that dude.
So he hasn't been. So Von hasn't been ruled out for the season yet.
No, but it sounds pretty bad according to
Rappaport and Schefter both reported that he didn't tear his ACL, but that it looks like he's probably going to have to miss much, if not the rest of the regular season. And then it's probably a January stretch run injury if all things go well. So he's not out yet, but obviously it's a big blow for them as they try to win this AFC East. And
dude, if he's got a tear in the LCL and he needs surgery one way or another, here's the thing that I was thinking. And again, this is the cynical one in me. This is why I've been thinking the whole brand Byron Jones is doing business with the Dolphins. Here we go. Here's where business sets in, doggy. He's got a 1-year deal, correct? Right?
Von?
Yeah, right?
No, he's got a 6-year deal. He signed a 6-year deal.
Oh, so then he's fine.
He's got three guaranteed, 6-year deal with 3 guarantees. So he's there regardless.
So he can play. So he can play it out. Okay. So if it was a 1-year deal, then he wouldn't. Then he would have to go to surgery right away to save his ass for next year.
Right.
But because he's got a guaranteed deal, then it's up to the Bills now to help him with the gamble because they could ruin him for next year also.
Yeah.
So they've got to be very careful how they handle this one.
Yeah, absolutely. They do. It's gonna be interesting down the stretch because they've got a bunch of injuries, and Von is not only huge for them on the field. I think he has 8 or 8.5 sacks. He's your top pass rusher, obviously, but off the field too. They brought him in to be that guy for this time of year. He's been really productive. September, October, November, but they brought him in with the same mind that the Rams had December, January, February. You give us the push. You've been here. You won multiple titles. You won a Super Bowl MVP. Help our young guys when it gets hard in December, January, and February over the punch. And so if they miss him for most of December, how does that affect that defense? I think it's a very, very significant injury. I said it yesterday. Some people argued with me on Twitter. I think he's the most significant player on that team outside of Josh Allen. And so,
hell yeah, who the hell can argue that?
Some people say Stephon Diggs is more significant than him, and I could see it, because
that's a good argument. That's a good argument.
But to me, Josh is the guy on offense, and Von is the guy on defense, and you have to have one guy on each side of the ball. Like Stephon is obviously number 2 on offense and a huge part of it. But to me, if they lost Stephon for a time, you still have Gabe Davis. You still can make it work. Without Von, and all he does from a leadership standpoint, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, I know, but the Diggs one is a good one. I didn't think about that.
I know they did. I was like, trust me, they don't want to lose either one. They don't want to lose either one.
No, but that was a good argument there because while I like the other two, he's just at another level, bro. Diggs is come on, man.
We saw him this past game. I mean, Jesus, even when he doesn't put up the crazy numbers, he didn't put up 100,
but they're impactful plays.
Exactly. Whenever you need him, he comes in clutch. He has a knack for that his whole career.
Yeah. The good thing is, it's what I've been telling, remember, we're a scarred bunch down here. Yeah. Because it's 2 decades. It's like Detroit fans. It's like, any other fan base, Orlando Magic fans or something. We're tortured children, Mm-hmm. And so we always think that the other shoe's going to fall, and because that's what's been the case. But they've never had a franchise quarterback since Marino. All the other guys they've always had are guys like the guy you watched yesterday, and Jared Goff, that you're hoping that he can make a play or two, and if everything goes well, this, that. But he's not the guy. Right. And I'm trying to tell the Dolphin Nation, so back me up here if you believe what I believe here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to win all the games or anything. I'm just saying they can beat anybody on their schedule.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is or where it is. San Fran, Chargers, Bills. I don't care. I'm not telling you they're winning all these games. I'm just saying Dolphin fans should go into all those games with the confidence that they can compete and possibly win those games.
Yeah, there's nobody that's too big for them. I think we talked about this last year when they played. I think it was last year when they played the Chiefs, right? And Tua came back in the second half and he made it close, but the game really wasn't close. They blew them out in the first half. I'm like, this team wasn't close enough to the Chiefs talent-wise that I felt at any point they were going to beat the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs, to me, are probably, you could argue either the Chiefs or maybe the Eagles. I probably wouldn't count the Bills in there. Whoever you consider as the biggest quote-unquote challenge to the Super Bowl right now. You match them against the Dolphins right now, yeah, the Chiefs will probably get 3 or 4 points in an even sight favorite, maybe 5, but they shouldn't be afraid of them. None of those teams are too big or too talented for the Dolphins, on any given Sunday. Like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is this, but the Dolphins feel pretty good about their quarterback, and they feel pretty good about their offensive line, their run game, and their defense in certain aspects. And so I think that Dolphins fans should feel pretty good going down the stretch and have some fun. I think this team will make the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens from there.
I know now's not the time or the place for it, so I doubt you've been dabbling in this subject because it's not important really, but it's intriguing. And so that's why I bring it up to you, because I haven't dabbled in it. I probably will once I go. God, thank God I get to go back to the combine. I haven't been there in 4 years, bro. It was the last 3 years. I haven't been to the combine, and it's like it was like a 20-year run, and then like all of a sudden, 3 years of not going. But I'm looking forward to going this year, obviously, and getting back to mingling with the NFL folks, and I'm sure I'll do some of it either at the Senior Bowl or the East West. How much has the Dolphins' success hurt Brian Flores? Because the development of Tua, the development of the offense, which is where he struggled mightily overall. We could talk about all the other issues, whether his lack of one-on-one skills and those kind of things that happen also that are there. But the fact that these guys made such a quick turnaround on offense, and that the quarterback is playing at such a significantly high level compared to anything that he did in the first 2 years under Brian Flores, I wonder how much this has hurt him behind the scenes. Forget about the lawsuit and forget about any of that. Just pure X's and O's.
It's an interesting question. I think the thing is, I think Brian Flores is going to have to go over a lot of hurdles to be a head coach again. If that,
no, he'll never get that. He's done.
So, but I think the thing, if he's not a head coach, is if he's a defensive coordinator, it won't necessarily hurt him, because his big issue on the field, like strictly on the field, is he could not figure out a way to fix the offense. The offensive coordinators, he couldn't find the guys to run the offense. He couldn't find a way to get the most out of the offensive line. He couldn't find a way to get the most out of his quarterback. Obviously, his relationship with his quarterback wasn't good. So everything on the offensive side of the ball did not go well for Brian Flores, right? But the defense, we have to say, was pretty good under him, you know? And so his best path is what he's doing now, being a linebackers coach, maybe eventually becoming a defensive coordinator somewhere. But I think his limitation will always be on the head coach side. One, some of the issues he had here at the end, and his relationship building, his personal, but also, can we trust this dude to build an offense?
Right.
And like you said, you clearly brought in a guy like Mike McDaniel who knows how to build an offense, and he did it instantly. And so it's showing you the difference on coaches who can build an offense or identify coaches, because you don't always have to be an offensive coach. It could be a defensive coach who's really good at identifying offensive coaches to lead the offense he wants. Flores was not good at that. And so I think it impacts him as a ability to get the defensive coordinator job, but I think it makes his path to a head coach job that much harder if there even was a path before.
By the way, it's at least understandable, because Adam Gase was an offensive guy and he couldn't
figure out the defense, right?
He couldn't get his offense going either.
Right. He couldn't either.
That first year, he got Ajayi and everything went well, but after that, it all fell apart on him on offense. You know what I mean? So it's and by the way, the same things that this man Flo suffered from, so did Joe Philbin, by the way.
Yeah,
two different ways of doing it, but both lacked people skills, actually.
Right.
You know what I mean? One was maybe too abrasive in his way, and the other one just didn't know how to communicate whatsoever with people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it was like both oddities in the way they did it. And so it's nothing new what Flores experience. We've seen this tons of times. Lots of guys are exceptional coordinators, and they suck as head coaches.
Yep.
You know, Wade Phillips, bro, one of the greatest defensive minds ever.
Awesome mind.
Do you want him as your head coach ever?
No, probably
Never.
not.
Never. Never, but you'll welcome him with open arms. As
he's an awesome defensive coordinator, and an awesome guy too, by the way.
Awesome human being too, right?
Yeah.
Awesome human being.
Yeah,
but it never worked out as a head coach.
Same for Dick LeBeau. Dick LeBeau's in the same catch. Some guys are really good at their side of the ball. It's so hard. That's why, like, I think people get caught up when it's hiring cycle about what somebody ranked as a coordinator on this sort of thing. I still remember Mike Vrabel, who I think is one of the best 6 or 7 coaches in the league. He was 30. He had the 32nd ranked defense as the Texans in his lone year as an offensive coordinator. The Titans hired him as their head coach. People were like, how could you hire the person with the worst defensive football? Because it's not just about calling the defensive plays or calling that. It's about everything else, your ability to lead, your ability to manage.
Right.
And so, I think Mike McDaniel has, and we're only 10, 11 games in. I'm really interested to see this stretch down the way. This Texans game, they should win, but they got to be careful because this is the quintessential trap game because they're so much more talented than the Texans. They're so much more, confident, better, but they're playing. The Texans are throwing out this backup quarterback who hasn't played all year, who, maybe you get lightning in a bottle, and how do you respond to that? But if they get past this game like we expect, even if it's a little uglier than it should be, you got a 6-game stretch where I think we're going to really learn a lot about this team, Mike McDaniel, Josh Boyer, the defensive coordinator. And if they can show what they've been showing over the first half of the season, then I think this is the core for you to believe in for a very long time. But there's a lot of games coming up that I think they're going to test them starting in San Fran next week.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt that stretch is going to be awesome. And by the way, it's a nice primer for the playoffs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, they shouldn't be afraid. They shouldn't be afraid. It's going to be a challenge, but they shouldn't be afraid because they stack up with all of these other teams, even if it's difficult. They stack up.
And I got to tell you something. While some people might be concerned about a letdown or something, I don't know, dude. Maybe it's just a homer approach on my part. But I think this winning stuff is so new to them.
Yeah.
And so refreshing to them. And I think the 3-game losing streak was the wake-up call of appreciation.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're like, this is life without this guy, and we couldn't get by it. Let's appreciate this and let's take advantage. And I think when, they were talking about, I think Tua said it yesterday, that they were chomping at the bit to get back and all that stuff.
Right.
I believe that's the case from those guys because I think they're excited about winning and they're still in that mode where people aren't convinced of them. Right. So they haven't been annoyed at anything yet. Yeah. That's the cool thing for them too. They're not like Kansas City. Like we're already annoyed in Kansas City now. Instead of Buffalo, we've kind of swung a little over to Kansas City now with our belief, right? That's kind of what it is. That okay, Buffalo,
they're healthier. They've been playing a lot better.
Right.
And so, I've been counting Buffalo out, by the way, but before it was Buffalo is the hot favorite and, Kansas City is second. Now I think it's been Kansas City's heavy first and then Buffalo's, in the mix with the other teams, Miami, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Tennessee, all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. So Miami hasn't been annoyed at anything.
Right.
And so I think they kind of also, they can't get a big head because Tua's, they're still saying, oh, well, Tua, it's the coordinator, it's the receivers, it's you put in another quarterback and he would have the same. So there's nothing of that. I think there's still some hunger on this team. So I think you're going to see a performance. All right. So we'll wrap it up with this. Who's the second running back on Sunday? Because it's not going to be Mostert. Come on, let's go. We know
Mostert actually was suited up in practice today, but I do get the feel that they're going to be careful with him this week. Rest him, especially, like I said, the team won't say this, but you're playing the Texans. You don't ideally need him. If this is a playoff game and he's like, hey, I'd suit up if it's a playoff game, it's not a playoff game. And so not ruled out yet. He did technically suit up for Friday practice, but I would probably say that Salvon Ahmed is the second running back there. But I do think that both he and Miles would both be active if Raheem can't go.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, he's injury prone, something else they won't tell you. So you've got to be a little extra careful. He's coming off a knee injury. By the way, is it the same injury? Is it the same knee?
I do not know. Yeah.
That's the thing. All right, follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf and catch his exceptional work, as always, on the NFL Network. Cam, enjoy the weekend, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
We'll do. Get another turkey sandwich for you, my man.
You know it, baby. Tonight, leftovers.
Yes, indeed.
You got it. Be good. There you go, Cameron Wolf. You know I'm going to have some leftovers. We did bring leftovers home, right? We did, right? Okay. I'm looking over at my wife's here. So I just had to look over like, we did, right? We got them. I know we brought some. Did we bring the rice and the beans too? Oh, God. Rice and beans were off the hook, man. Off the hook. Joe Shad there yet? Send his slow ass a text. Huh? Yeah. Oh, we have unleashed the wolf pack.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. There we go. Haven't heard anything from Joe. So hopefully we will get Joe on in a minute here. I sent it to him. I sent it to his email. Sent him another one or something. I don't know, but I sent it to him already. Damn it. That Von Miller injury, that thing is going to be huge, man. That's going to be huge. That helps out the Dolphins in a big time way. By the way, when sports and business collide, we like doing something on this show, and it's something called the KSDT Sports Business Report. Yes. Well, guess what, folks? They are raising the prices of ads for the World Cup. How about that? That's pretty amazing stuff that they're doing that, man. That is the craziness of it. Fox is doubling, okay, with the excitement building on both sides of the Atlantic. Fox has doubled advertising prices for its Friday big World Cup match between USA and England. Fox is charging $600,000 for a 30-second commercial spot during its coverage of the Black Friday showdown in Qatar. That's roughly double the $300,000 price tag during a match. By the way, that's the World Cup. $300,000 for half a minute. You want to look up how much a half a minute is in the Super Bowl? You know, remember how some of you idiots out there were like, remember when I said the NFL is the most powerful league? And then some of you then, what about FIFA? And well, FIFA is not a league. It's a governing body. But, you know, the Premiership is a league. The Bundesliga is a league. You know, Serie A is a league. MLS is a league. Major League Baseball is a league. NBA, none of them. No soccer league in the world is close to the NFL.
How much was
$300,000 normally? They raised it to $600,000 per half minute. How much is it in the Super Bowl? How many millions?
Well, it's $6.5 million, but equates to about $233,000 per second.
So not even the World Cup. Not even the World Cup is more powerful than the Super Bowl. Okay? That's crazy. You're paying $300,000 for a half second, and you're paying millions in the Super Bowl. Millions. Yeah, that was last year. Next year it's billions. I don't know. That's all you need to know how strong it is. But there you go. The increase might be even higher. Bloomberg previously reported Fox was charging $700,000 per 32nd. Fox Corp Sports / Telemundo agreed to pay $1 billion for the English language and Spanish language rights for the 2018-2022 World Cups. $1 billion for 2 World Cups? The NFL ticket costs more than that in 1 year. I didn't realize that. I would figure that World Cup stuff would be even more expensive than the Super Bowl, and it's not even more expensive than the Super Bowl. That's impressive, dude. Super Bowl. Wow. Or as we say in Spanish, el super tazón. Dominating. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Right. By the way, Adidas is also going to investigate Kanye West. Yep. Apparently they're going to investigate Kanye for something that... So there's a probe into the allegations that Kanye West played pornography to employees, according to the company. Did you hear about this? Now, I am going to call complete BS on this. Okay? This is complete BS. All right? I don't think you should investigate Kanye for this. It says the investigation into the rapper, which was first reported by the Financial Times, comes 2 days after a scathing article from the Rolling Stone found that the problematic mogul showed pornographic to prospective and existing employees at his fashion company at Yeezy, which is owned by Adidas. Reporting found out that West, who now goes by Yee, showed intimate pictures of his then wife, Kim Kardashian, to a prospective collaborator, as well as an explicit video of her to employees. West is alleged to have told multiple employees to people that he wanted to make a shoe I can blank, and I literally wanted to blank my shoes. One former employee recalls him saying, "That's how good they are." Now, here's where I call BS. Because if you're showing, he's there, right? If you're showing Kim K porn, we've all seen it already. So it really, it's, you can't be suing me for something everybody's already seen. I mean, come on. Really, the world has seen Kim Kardashian naked. That's nothing new. It's normal. That's how she's made a living. She's made it off of being naked. So are you really showing anything somebody hasn't seen? Isn't that a great defense for Kanye? He is crazy. So might as well, he's just going to stand there and say, hey, everybody's seen her porn tape. Come on, we all know it. I'm not showing anything new. Kanye West. Wow, what a piece of work. He is definitely a few sandwiches short of a picnic. Can you imagine just walking around to your employees and showing porn? Even if it's your wife? Okay. All right. And that's a perfect segue because that's all about hijinks. You know, Kanye West is constantly involved in hijinks. And guess who's also involved in hijinks? Joe Shad. So let's get to our Miami Dolphins report presented by Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca.
Dolphins fans, it's time to talk to the man with incredibly high standards. It's not easy to score an A or grade 10 out of 10 with this guy. In fact, he isn't impressed with Joey Chestnut's dominance, Usain Bolt's speed, or even Van Ginkel's locks. Will the hijinks continue? Can the Miami Dolphins do the impossible by getting a passing grade with Joe Shad? It's time for the Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report. This report is brought to you by Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca at 133 Southeast Meisner Boulevard. Enjoy happy hour 4 to 7 p.m. Reserve a VIP table online and receive 1 free sparkling wine. Follow them on Instagram at Hijinks Sports Grill. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Joe Shad.
All right, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Shad, ready to go. How you feeling, my man? There he is on camera and everything. He's back. Kind of like
What's up, Big Up?
Or something.
Everything's well here at the Dolphins practice facility. We just got in from Friday practice and saw that Raheem Mostert and Teron Armstead were dressed and suited up for practice. Mike McDaniel told us earlier today that he expects Armstead to play, but that it was an uphill battle for Mostert. So after not practicing the previous 2 days due to a knee injury, you may see a little Myles Gaskin or Savon Ahmed behind Jeff Wilson as opposed to Mostert if Mostert can't go.
I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. Mostert's got injury history with his knee. I don't know if it's the same knee that he banged up, but he is an injury-prone player. He's done a phenomenal job, and the Houston Texans are terrible against the run. This is the perfect week to run Savon Ahmed and Myles Gaskin behind Mr. Wilson, who I'm sure is going to be an absolute fantasy stud this week. All right, so Joe, let me ask you some crazy questions, right? You and I go over crazy topics here on the show many, many times over. The Tua stuff, obviously. Everybody had their pros and cons about it. You asked me if I would take him over Herbert. I told you I would, and it sounded crazy then. Doesn't sound so crazy now. Maybe 4 years ago when I wrote in The Athletic, and I said to fire Gase and Tannenbaum and hire Greer and make him the general manager. That sounded crazy too, because a lot of people, thought he was part of the problem here for the last 15 years. And so I brought up something crazy a little over a year ago when I said after the 10 interception year, this might be the time to trade X now and get off the gravy train. Do you think that that statement is not so crazy anymore? And did the Dolphins, and look, I understand after the entire mess with Flo, let me also backtrack a little bit and say I understand the method behind the madness on the team. Once you did the whole mistake with Flo for 2 years, you set back the entire offense. You've got Tua's contract coming up in a couple of years. You need to fast track this thing, and you need to find out about everything right away. And that's what they did. And in order for you to make a run, you're going to have to try to keep X now. And so you couldn't really get rid of him. But a year ago would have been the right time to get off the gravy train and pick up all those picks. And what we know now, right? The owners cost them a first and a third. They would have had extra picks along the way with X here. Did they miss out on that boat with X?
Xavier Howard hasn't played very well through the first 10 games of the season, and the biggest reason is groin injuries. And obviously with X, the biggest concern is always going to be health. Even though X hasn't played well, because Byron Jones hasn't played this season, you have to think that the Dolphins would have had a difficult time getting to 7-3 without Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. Kader Kohu has been a blessing. Nick Needham played solid when he was in there. Keon Crossan has been okay. But
hey, man, the Justin Bethel kid's done some stuff. Well, he's 33. He's not a kid, but damn, he's helped out, which is crazy.
So if the window for championship play has opened, if you believe that the Dolphins offense is as good as any offense in the National Football League, if you believe that the Dolphins have enough players on defense to play championship caliber football, you've already renegotiated with Xavier twice. I generally find it hard to believe that at this point in time, I think he's gone 13 games without an interception. It would be foolish to suggest that the Dolphins did not explore trade possibilities for Xavier over the last 2-3 years. So it's not as though he was deemed untouchable. I mean, think about it. He survived the teardown, right? And if they could have traded him at the teardown, that would have been the best time to actually trade him. But I do think that Xavier Howard is likely to play at a much higher level over the last 7 games, and they're going to need him to play at a much higher level against, the Stephon Diggses of the world.
Yeah, no, if they're going to make a championship run, like you say, if they think of going deep, he needs to get back to form. But if he doesn't, that's going to be, a rough one for this team, unfortunately. But they had no choice. They had to keep him at this point. The time to get off the gravy train was a while back, and they did not get off it. Now they've got to stay on it and got to ride it out, as you know, because if cap hits and all that, they're gonna have to have him on the roster for one more year. This offseason, they'll part with Byron Jones, but they'll probably part with X the following year after that. They won't be able to do it with both because of what you talked about with the restructures, correct?
But Miami shouldn't be in a rush to move on from Xavier Howard. I mean, he's
not anymore.
He's been their best player since my return to the beat. This is my 7th year back. Is this also X's 7th or 8th year? It's
something
amazing.
Like that. No, you're right.
Yeah, it's amazing how much time flies. I mean, look, it's hard to believe that Xavier was going to perform at the level that he did last year and the year before and the year before that, moving forward because of age and injury history. But I suspect he'll still be a very good player when on the field. And credit to him for not asking out. He has tried to play through injury, and he deserves credit for that.
Yeah, no, it's in fact, you look at the way Byron Jones has handled it, maybe you look at the way X has handled it, and you admire that X has handled it that way. It's kind of like, did you see the Justin Fields story? I mean, that's awesome. The kid was like, after the game, he was apologizing to his teammates that he threw the interception, this and that, and the defensive players got up and interrupted him towards the end of it and say, "Man, you don't need to apologize. You balled out for us, all that." It was one like he handled it completely opposite of Zach Wilson, in New York. You know what I mean? And it's kind of, you're looking at X and you're looking at Byron and you're going, hey man, at least X is, Byron got his money and so did X, but at least X is staying on the field, 1 or 2 groin injuries, and he's sucking it up. And you're right. You got to tip your hat to that, because that doesn't happen all the time in this league. Okay? People make business decisions.
Yeah, and you do wonder missed practice time because of the ongoing contract discussions over the last 2 years. Has that had any negative impact? Maybe not so much, because with X, he's not the kind of guy you want to work too many reps outside of the game.
I'm with you there. All right. This game, obviously, on paper, doesn't seem like much of a challenge. This is a game that they should control overall. I was talking with Cam about this. Some people think that, they could overlook this. I say they won't, Joe. I say the 3-game losing streak was their wake-up call. They saw what life is without Tua. They know what frustrations are, and it came 3 weeks in a row. So it wasn't losses spread it out throughout the season. It was all in one lump sum. It was a nice valley for them that they experienced it. And I think that I think it was Tua that said guys came back, like amped up or whatever it was, or chomping at the bit, I think is what he said, and I think that's true. I think you're going to get an inspired effort from the Dolphins. I think this winning thing is like a drug for them right now that they can't get enough of. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think McDaniel has a nice way with the team of not over or under emphasizing any particular game or series or situation. A few minutes ago, I was out watching the Dolphins at the beginning of their Friday practice, and I literally saw Mike McDaniel dancing with Tua, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill. He was dancing to rap music. And I was like, this is so cool. This is such a cool time to be alive and to be covering the Dolphins, because it's fun. And McDaniel gave us like more than 20 minutes on a Friday press conference. And he's so respectful, and the players respect him too. And listen, there might be a little rust in the first quarter or into the second quarter, but I think that the Dolphins, have too much talent, just way too much talent. And even though they say the Texans are trying hard and haven't given up, I think they will lay down.
So wait a minute, you're telling me Flo was never dancing with the players? Is that what you're saying?
Not that I saw. I mean, that doesn't make one guy a better coach than the other. I'm just saying it's kind of cool to watch.
It's cool to cover, bro. Come on, admit it. You were covering a robot that had no emotions, gave you nothing. Now you get to write interesting stories. Now you get to really fill up your paper with, some real good nuggets about human beings covering a very, or working in a very difficult environment. There's a lot of substance now compared to the stuff you guys had to settle with before. Now you got a lot of angles you can go, man.
But let's remember, not to defend Flo, but let's remember he did have a 10-6 season. And so it will be interesting if this team finishes 10-7 and misses the playoffs. Now, I'm not hoping that that's what happens, but if this team were to, let's say, finish 10-7 and miss the playoffs or get in and get routed in the first round, how would that season be perceived?
Terrible.
In comparison to the Flores 10-6 season.
No, you
not
can't
as
go,
good, right?
No, it would be absolutely horrific.
Bigger disappointment.
It would be a much bigger disappointment because that means you're going 3-4 down the stretch. That means you probably lost a lot of the more important games, the San Franciscos, the Buffalo, the New England. And so and then you actually had like a real offense and you did that? No, you can't do that. Yeah, you can't.
Big O, it's not unreasonable to envision a scenario where this team does lose to San Francisco, Green Bay, Buffalo, and New England. I mean, it's certainly possible.
No.
Things are getting much more real. This has been a stretch of sort of boring, lackluster.
Is Tua playing?
You're saying that so that gives them a chance. I agree.
No. If Tua's playing, you should win most of those games. I'm not telling you you're gonna win all of these games, but of the 7 games that are left, if it's not to injury, okay, because look at Von Miller now, that's going to affect them. If you're going to tell me that the key players are healthy for the next 7 games, Joe, I don't expect any less than 5-2 down this stretch. 5-2 is the least I expect down the stretch. You're way better than Green Bay.
Well, 4-3 would be
better than
you're better. 4-3 would be 11-6. 11-6 is a very nice season. I think I picked 10-7 or 11-6, and so that'd be a really nice season. That'd be a real step forward as an organization. Because remember, Flo did win 9 games, and he did win 10 games.
I know.
And this
why,
team,
and that's why I said this is a playoff team.
11 is a good target.
Yeah, because this is why I said Mike McDaniel has to make the playoffs this year because you had no offense and you won 9 or 10 games. Okay, so that's what they inherited. Okay, I had a goddamn offense and you should win 2 or 3, 4 more games. And that's exactly what we're seeing. You're already at 7. You're already 3 games behind the best year that they had. And you're going to get 8 this week against Houston. You've got a couple of another easy ones that should make it 9 and 10. Now it's the rest of them, the difficult ones. Now let me see what you do down the stretch. I expect this team to do very well down the stretch.
I'm going to California, Big O. I'll be out there in California, and I was disappointed to learn that it's going to be a low of 39 degrees when I arrive in Santa Clara. So something to watch for. Could be a little bit not so nice weather in San Francisco, but I guess that's not a shock. The Bay Area, sometimes it's not so nice.
By the way,
could be a little wet, could be a little cold.
Saturday, by the way, there's a great event going on the day before the game. The Marks brothers are going to be there. Duper Clayton, John Taylor, and Eric Wright from San Francisco. So it's going to be a Dolphins and Niners fan base event. And then those 4 players are going to be there. That's
nice.
That's a pretty cool event there that you may want to.
I remember watching that Super Bowl I was laying down underneath my Uncle Steve's coffee table with my dad. My dad passed away, rest his soul, but he was there. And so what year was that, 83, 84?
84, 85, yes. Yep.
Right. So in December of 84, I would have just been turning 10. So I was a 10-year-old. My daughter is 10. So, yeah, that's a cool memory. I was
They
a
were
Mets
so much
fan.
better, man.
Yeah.
They were just complete. The Dolphins weren't. They didn't have the defense. They didn't have the running game.
So going into that game, you didn't think the Dolphins had a good chance?
I thought they had a chance because Marino, but, when you watch the game, they were just complete. Marino never had a complete team, dude. He never played with a running game. He never played with a defense. Oh, listen, let me be honest. He never played with a right side of the line either. It was really the left side of his line. That was monstrous. The right side was all right. It was pedestrian, whatever. It wasn't anything special. The special guys were on the left side. It was just, if you look at it honestly, it was just never a complete team. That was the sad part about it.
I remember being disappointed that wasn't really a great game. By the way, Texans confirmed that Kyle Allen, the former Texas A&M quarterback, will start instead of Davis Mills. The thing about Davis Mills is that he and Tua had identical statistics last year. Identical. Everything. Passer rating, touchdowns, interceptions, completion percentage, yards. And
I had nutbags telling me that Davis Mills was a better quarterback. Yeah, I heard that. I heard that also. Yeah, I know.
I appreciate that you retweeted and or liked the story that I wrote about, the column that I wrote in the Palm Beach Post about how win-loss record is a quarterback stat.
Yeah.
I went nasty. I know that a lot of people disagree.
Yeah, Poupart disagrees with that. You know what I mean? But I don't, because you just look at the history of the Dolphins and you get your mediocre to average quarterback. And what is your end result as a franchise? You've been mediocre to average for 20 years. Why? Because that's all you ever get at quarterback, and probably coaching too. Now you're getting superior offensive coaching and superior quarterback play. And oh my God, you've won 70% of your games, and 100% when your actual franchise quarterback starts and finishes a game. So winning for me is definitely a correlation with your franchise quarterback.
And Big O, I want to let you know I had a great time. I brought my wife over to the Hygiene Sports Bar and Grill.
I'm going Tuesday.
Last weekend, and had some wings and some steak tacos and some drinks. My wife was dancing just like Mike McDaniel at practice today. I'm going to imagine that it's going to be a great scene over there for U.S.-England World Cup. So I'll see if I can get my booty over there after a locker room.
Well, I'll be there on Tuesday for sure. I'm going after the show, driving up. I'm going to go hang out with Rob out there. And so I already talked to Rob. He's going to be there on Tuesday. So I told him I'd be there around 2:30, 3 o'clock. So any of you out there that have been asking me when I'm going to Hijinks, I'm going to Hijinks for sure on Tuesday. I'll be there by 2:30, 3 o'clock, I think, because obviously it's a little traffic to go up there, but I should be there on Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to hanging out at Hijinks with Rob and any of the listeners that want to go out there and meet me out there at Hijinks. So looking forward to it. Hey, what do you got going on in the Palm Beach Post? Getting us ready for the game on Sunday, my friend.
So I wrote a column about Teron Armstead, and I found out that he's been having a chef prepare a special meal for the entire offensive line at his house every Thursday night. We've been playing a little cards. And also on Tuesdays, which is traditionally the Dolphins' off day, he has been sending a text message to a group chat inviting any and all of the linemen to meet him out on the practice field here at Miami Gardens to go through the steps of the various offensive plays. So this guy, Teron Armstead, is an incredible leader. He is, and Rob Hunt and Austin Jackson both told me that what Armstead has brought was lacking in the offensive line room over the previous two seasons. So
I don't know how
if
many
it's not posted already, check it out. It's a really interesting story about Armstead's off-field impact.
I don't know how many times I said last year that those poor kids kept looking to each other and they had nobody they could lean on, nobody they could ask questions to, no real proven linemen around them. And to me, that was the dumbest thing that Flo ever did. You have to have a combination of veterans and young guys. If you're going to bring young guys along, there needs to be some veterans in there that can teach them the ropes and show them how it's done, and guys that they can lean on that have been there and done it. And that is, by the way, not only Armstead. Were you a little floored at when Tua talked about how, like, the different kinds of players that he invites over and all that kind of stuff? Like, he's going to extremes himself too, to connect with all kinds of players in the locker room. Like, he invites all kinds of people to his house to hang out. I thought that was also really cool too, because you would think, oh, it's only the running backs and the receivers. No, dude, it's all kinds of players on defense or anybody.
You're talking about Tua?
Yeah.
He mentioned Javon Holland and Brandon Jones were coming over, and that was a big Ryan Fitzpatrick thing. I always noticed how he would engage all the different position groups, offense and defense, and that's something you're seeing Tua do more of. So I'm going to go to the Dolphins locker room here in a couple of minutes, and we're going to see if Raheem Mostert.
Oh, you won't see him around. You won't see him around. You won't see him, and you won't see Byron Jones. When was the last time you saw Byron Jones in the locker room?
I haven't seen Byron Jones with my eyes this season.
Did you watch his latest video on his love for Porsches?
No.
You should check it out. There's a video out there about 7-8 minutes long, and Byron Jones and him and his friends, Kendricks, a couple of other guys, and their love for Porsches and his passion for Porsche. So check it out. He's got a big passion for cars, not a big passion for returning to the field to play for the Miami Dolphins, but a big passion for Porsches. Oh, we lost him. There he is, Joe Shad. Yes, sir, from the Palm Beach Post, always in a hijinks. You see how he dropped out right at the right time, right when we were taking some shots there, Byron Jones. But Byron loves his cars. He's like Tiga and whatever, and we like the cars that go boom. What's the name of those two girls? I forgot. Anyway, so there you go. Byron Jones likes the cars that go vroom, vroom. All right, that is Joe Shad.
This has been the Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Report with Joe Shad. This report is brought to you by Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca at 133 Southeast Meisner Boulevard. Enjoy happy hour from 4 to 7 p.m. Reserve a VIP table online and receive one free sparkling wine. Follow them on Instagram at Hijinks Sports Grill.
Yeah, but check out that video from Byron Jones talking about, and it's a new video. Hasn't been out very long, a day or two. But they had time to produce that. Have you seen that video? Okay. All right. Yeah, he has like a 1-800 number now. Oh, it's 56. Oh, I thought he told me it was a 1-800 number. I thought Joe was starting like a sex line on the side or something because, 855 and this and that, and so. We thank Ira Winderman, of course, Manny Navarro. We thank Joe Shad. We thank Scott Pianowski and Cameron Wolf. We thank, of course, Larry Schlossberg and the great people. Tony Stampone is in the house. Yeah, I haven't seen Pat Nasto in a while, although Pat and I went back and forth yesterday on text. Pat, we love you, brother. Thank you as always. And we thank everybody. Craig Zinn, Mr. Zinn was just here a little while ago. It's a beautiful thing. We thank the entire Zinn family and everybody for being so supportive of our platform every single day. Come on out here, man. It's Black Friday. You got great events. Great deals going on. It's towards the end of the month. They want to hit their numbers. They're the number one volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. There's no Acura dealership that sells more Acuras than, of course, Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines. Top 4 dealership in the country. I think they were number 3 or number 2 last year or something like that. Some really serious, ridiculous number, actually. You know who's number 1 in Acura every year? Just ahead of them every year? The one in Virginia, just outside of D.C. Do you know why? because all the senators and all those people are constantly getting new, because we're constantly voting new people in. So it's like there's a lot of people in Washington, D.C. that are going through that dealership constantly, because we're constantly changing and voting people in and out and all that. So I'm told that a lot of the people that live in that area kind of go through there. So they end up having that small advantage. But these guys are number 2, man. I'm pretty sure it was number 2. It's an incredible feat what they do here. And that's because they give you a great selection of new and certified pre-owned. So make sure you tell them that Big O sent you, and I promise you they will take care of you out here, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you. We are out of here. We thank Sean Stanley, of course, the man, the myth, the legend that masters this entire program. We'll see you tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. We'll get you ready for the Canes and the Pitt Panthers. We'll be live at Walk-Ons in Kendall like we are every week. This is the final week for the Canes games. I think we're going to be back at Walk-Ons doing some other things. But for Canes games, we're pretty much done. Unless the academic geniuses make the bowl game, which that was a new one to me. They're going to make the bowl game on academics. Wow. Okay. That's a new one. I'll take it. But we start at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Mike McCoy, Sean, myself, we'll get you ready. We'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a good one out there. Be safe. Happy late Thanksgiving. If you didn't see us or the day before yesterday, you all be good out there and be safe. Much love.
This is the Big O Show.